And we are live here to discuss Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. Who wins this fight? How do they win? What are their strengths? What are the weaknesses? So for me, it's very simple. This is a very simple matchup. It's all going to be about who controls the distance the best. Devin Haney is not strong at mid-range, and he's definitely not strong on the inside game. Anytime somebody gets in on him, he wants to clinch immediately. He does not like being in close proximity, and he's not very well at it. So Lomachenko, on the other hand, being the much shorter guy, smaller guy, he excels from mid-range to close range. Now, the one thing about Lomachenko is, even though he beat this fighter, he's not like a Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux was a much shorter guy, fighting guys from range, and he would out jab taller fighters. Loma's not like that. Loma is more of a counter puncher. So he doesn't really look to set up the shots with the jab off of countering jabs. It's more he's trying to get into mid-range to let his hooks go. Yes, he does throw jabs, but it's not his main tool against taller fighters. So again, you have one guy in Devin Haney who is not good at mid-range, close range, excels at the full distance. If you get separation, he excels from the outside. Lomachenko, he cannot excel from the outside. He has to get the mid-range, close range to be effective, especially against Devin Haney, who is much bigger than him. I believe it's a 5.5-inch reach advantage. So there's that to factor in. And Devin, while Loma is much better than this fighter, Devin has already had experience with a mid to close range fighter that likes to throw a lot of shots once they get in George Kambosos. So I would say that Devin actually had a good tune-up fight twice, even though George Kambosos, I'm not saying he's a tune-up style fighter. I give him a lot of credit because he was 3 out of the 4 major titles. I don't count him as being undisputed because the WBC franchise, I've never counted that as a legitimate belt. But still, he beat the man of the division, Teofimo Lopez, who beat Lomachenko. So the man that beat the man has to beat a man. And Devin went in there against the man who doesn't do anything as good as Lomachenko, but still gets in the mid-range, gets close, and tries to barrage you with shots. It's a good fight for Lomachenko. Lomachenko, on the other hand, went in there with Jermaine Ortiz, and I've heard people argue that he lost that fight. I disagree fully. I watched it. I didn't catch it live, but I did catch it on the playback. And there's no way that you could give Jermaine Ortiz that fight. Jermaine Ortiz looked like he started to gas around the 5th round. And by the 5th round on, Loma completely took over the fight. Now, did Ortiz cause Lomachenko a lot of issues? Yes, he did. But I've said this before. This fight between Loma and Jermaine Ortiz is not indicative to what's going to happen in the ring against Devin Haney. The difference in Jermaine Ortiz is 2 things. One, he's got a hell of a punch. He's got a lot of pop, whereas Devin has 2 bunny paws. He's not known for pop. He really doesn't hit hard. Jermaine Ortiz does hit hard. Furthermore, off of that, the caveat off of it, Jermaine Ortiz was Lomachenko's sparring partner. What does that mean? It means that he had experience with Lomachenko. So when he got in the ring with Loma, he knew exactly what Loma was going to try to do to him, the angles he was going to take, the way that he was going to turn Ortiz, that Ortiz knew how to turn with him through experience. He knew what to look for. He knew the ticks. He knew the signs that Loma was going to give him through several rounds of sparring with Lomachenko. So that's why I believe the fight was so close. When you spar with somebody, you learn them. The more you learn them, the tighter the fight becomes. Even if you're not as good, you will get better and better and better against that individual to where what was once a distant fight is now a very close fight. So that's what I believe happened with Jermaine Ortiz. But if you look at Loma's 2 other fights against Comey before that, he could have stopped Comey. He definitely could have stopped him. Lomachenko looked to the corner. He waved at Comey's corner like, hey, are you going to stop the fight? Are you going to stop the fight? We've never seen Lomachenko do that before in any fight. Normally, when he hurts somebody, he finishes them. So he should have stopped Richard Commey. He could have stopped Richard Commey, but for whatever reason, I guess he got a heart. And then you look at what he did against Nakatani. He went in there, completely obliterated Nakatani. Stopped him in the 9th round, TKO. Nakatani had no offense, defense. There was nothing he could do. The good thing about Richard Commey and Nakatani is they're both tall. They're both rangy. So that gives Lomachenko experience. Even Jermaine Ortiz gives Lomachenko experience against this jab that he's going to have to deal with. No. Jermaine Ortiz, Nakatani, and Richard Commey, none of them are as good IQ-wise as Devin Haney. Devin has proven himself to be leagues above, head and shoulders above the people he's been in the ring with. He's very smart. So he's got better brains than the other ones. What's going on, Get It Smoke? I'm going to let you on the panel if you want to get on. Let me drop this link real fast. Just let me finish what I'm saying, and then we'll open it up. If you want to get on. No pressure. So you look at Lomachenko. He's had 3 fights against taller, rangier fighters. That's very good going into the Devin Haney fight. And he's also been active. The one thing about Lomachenko is he does not look as good when he has a break. The first break that he had was before he fought Teofimo Lopez and he lost. The second break he had was before he got in there with Jermaine Ortiz. So he didn't look as good. So in my opinion, Loma is one of them fighters that has to stay active, because if he's not, he's going to come in rusty and he's not going to be as good, which is another reason why I believe he didn't do as well against Jermaine Ortiz, along with being his sparring partner. So, yeah, I'm going to make predictions at the end of what I'm saying, and then we'll just talk about it, Teach. So, getting back to Devin Haney, as I was saying, George Kambosos was a very good tune-up. Again, I will restate, I rate George Kambosos. I don't think he's a tune-up style fighter. I think he's a very good fighter. But for Loma's style, Kambosos is a very good matchup before Haney gets in there with Loma. Now, the million-dollar question is going to be, is Devin Haney going to be able to control the clinch like he did against George Kambosos against Lomachenko? There's a big difference in Loma and George Kambosos when it comes to the clinch. Loma is very good at working in the clinch. If you tie him up, he's very good at getting the free hand, hitting you with it. He's got a wrestling background, so he's very good. You can't hear me? Yo, Get The Smoke. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Teacher saying he can't hear me. All right. So anyways, as I was saying, back to what I was saying. Lomachenko is very good at wrestling in the clinch. He's very good at getting his hands free, which will pay him dividends against Devin Haney. Now, one thing I will say about Devin Haney, although he clinches a lot, he has proven to be very strong. And the strength that he has, while he may not have a lot of punching power, he has a lot of physical strength. Because when he was rocked, when he was hurt against Linares, he held on. And there was nothing Linares could do to break free. There was nothing he could do to get out of the clinch. Every guy that I've seen Devin clinch with, they're trapped. They're stuck in his arms until the referee separates and gives him that much needed separation that he relies on. So that's going to be another thing. Is Lomachenko going to be physically strong enough to break out the clinch and use the free hand? You good, Teach. Not a problem at all. I've done that before too. I see people typing. I press pause on the line like, what are y'all talking about? This dude ain't saying nothing. And then I realize I got to skip forward. But so to me, to not go on forever and forever, Devin Haney has had 2 fights, or excuse me, 2 fighters that he's fought, 3 fights that are very good preparation for Lomachenko. Neither one of these guys are as good as Loma, but when you look at size, stature, speed, they're good at that. When you look at counterpunching, they're good at that. When you look at breaking the distance, they're good at that. That's Jojo Diaz, which I don't think it was that close of a fight. Some people say it was close. I thought Devin dominated him. Yes, he got hits on Devin, but they were far few and in between. And then George Kambosos 2 times. He did very good, especially the second time against George. I thought the first fight was very close. Other people didn't. But the second time, he showed you that he learned, and he learns very quickly, and completely dominated George Kambosos. On the flip side, as I was saying earlier, I think Loma has 3 fights that are very good to train for Haney. Neither fighter is as good as Haney, but it gives them the distance, the reach factor, the jab to get around. And that was against Nakatani, Comey, and the last fight against Ortiz. So I think both guys are well prepped for each other. My biggest concern, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for Devin Haney if he loses, is Ramadan. I feel that they pushed for this fight to happen because they knew in order for Devin to be able to take this fight, he would have to go through Ramadan. And he may not be at his strongest unless he's just thrown that to the side and said, I can't do it. I'm preparing for this fight. But if he has been going by the strict rules of his faith, then I only fear that could weaken him. And in my opinion, that'll always be an asterisk because I feel like this was strategic, how they did this, much like how Tank Davis put the rehydration clause on Ryan Garcia. So I believe that this was a tactic and it was timing to get Devin at this point where he wouldn't be at his strongest. However, the good thing in Devin's favor about Ramadan is you don't eat as much. So where he's been big for the weight, maybe he'll make the weight easier because during this time period, he's not eating as much as he normally would. So it could actually help him out. I don't know. It's yet to be seen. We'll see on the scale. He has looked very bad on the scale before. I normally don't make official predictions till they weigh in, when I see what they look like. But in my opinion, this is a true 50-50 fight. It could go either way. A lot of people think Lomachenko is losing a step. He's not quite as fast as he used to be. Okay, Devin did say he did not fast for Ramadan. Okay, then he should be 100%. All gears go. So that's good to know. That's good to know that it's not good that he couldn't adhere to it. I think that's BS. But it's good that he'll be 100% and that excuse goes out the window, which would be a legitimate excuse. So as I was saying, it's a 50-50 fight. It's going to be really come down to who can control the distance the best. Who do I favor? This is hard. There are only a handful of fighters I have bet against, and every time I have bet against them, they've proven me wrong. One is Errol Spence Jr. The other one is Tank Davis. Another one is Tyson Fury. And the final one, the fourth one, that always seems to prove me wrong is Devin Haney. Every time I go against them, they win. When I go for them, they win, of course. But every time I've picked against them, they've always proven me to be wrong. And unless Devin looks gaunt on the scale, I favor Devin Haney in this fight. Again, I won't make my official prediction until they weigh in, but at this moment, I favor Devin, and I don't believe the fix is in. I don't believe the fix is in. I know a lot of people are saying Devin's going to lose because he's already behind on the rounds before he ever gets into the ring, and I don't believe that at all because that's bad business for Bob Arum. I believe it's bad business because you got a guy who's at the end of his career in Lomachenko. The only thing you can do with Loma is feed him to Shakur Stevenson. That's it. Because Loma's career is in the twilights. It's not that many fights left before he's going to retire. On the flip side, you have Devin Haney, who's young. He's in the last fight of his contract. At 140, his top rank, you have all the fighters that he's going to want to fight outside of Regis. But you pretty much control the 140 division. You have the next premier guy at 135 in Shakur Stevenson. You wouldn't want to try to rob him because you would want to try to build him and try to re-sign him, or if you can't re-sign him, at least have him coming back for his next fight as a free agent doing business with you. So I think it would be bad business to rob Devin. I don't see a robbery happen. I really don't believe it would happen. If a robbery was going to happen, it would happen in the first George Kambosos fight with Devin Haney in Australia, and it didn't. So I do not believe the fix is in. And if Devin loses, it's because Loma outboxed him. So that's my 2 cents on it. At the moment, I favor Devin, but I'll make it official as soon as they weigh in on Friday. What's going on, Get It Smoke? Let's talk about it.
Hey, what's up, man? So That was an excellent breakdown. I actually only disagree with one point, and it's very minor. Um, and I wrote it in the chat, but I misstated what I meant. Not that he doesn't have a killer instinct, but that he doesn't really. He's not a finisher. If you if he catches you with something and you can't handle it, okay. But a lot of his knockouts are guys quitting and retiring. It's not because he finished him. He actually, I was at the Mariaga fight and he was beating the shit out of Mariaga and asking for the ref to stop it. It was just kind of like that guy. He can overwhelm you. He can outclass you and all that stuff. But I don't know if he has like finishing power kind of thing. He's just not that good a finisher to me. But he does definitely have a killer instinct. He's just not a good finisher.
The Mariaga fight, he was completely annihilating that dude. And you got to think about it like this: Larry Holmes, when he fought Ali, he was begging the ref to stop the fight. So I believe Loma has the killer instinct, but at the same time, he was completely mollywhopping that dude the way he probably felt bad for him.
I mean that's what I'm saying. Like usually you get that dude out of there, or you do a thing. Like if you can't finish him, then you can do this. You start doing this other stuff. But if you could finish him, you would.
Yeah, but you got to understand, Smoke. Like in the aspect of like a fighter, the worst thing in the world is to get constantly beat on and not get finished. Like that does more long-term damage to you than just getting put away and then you get.
Hey, listen, I'm not talking about the humaneness or the compassion or even the what should happen. I'm just rating his finishing power. As like I said killer instinct, and that's not right. He definitely does have killer instinct. It's just as a finisher, he was no Lomachenko, remember? And then like there's a couple of guys like he hit Linares with that body shot, beautiful body shot. Right, he just couldn't continue. But yeah, like I've seen it. I think he hurt Pedraza a bunch and couldn't finish that one. Yeah, I think he even hurt Tio real bad. Couldn't anyway. He gets guys hurt and then guys can recover if they can, or they just give up.
I will say this: I believe he has the killer instinct, but at the same time, I believe he shows mercy, which in the spirit of competitiveness is great to have, but in a boxing ring, in my opinion, is stupid because if you look at the Comey fight, when he tried to beg and plead for Comey's corner to stop the fight, he had no damage inflicted on him. His face looked fresh, like he hadn't even been in a fight. And because he prolonged the fight instead of jumping on him to finish it, he had looked like he was in a fight by the end of the fight. So I don't really agree with having mercy for an opponent, but some people do out of sportsmanship. Is it a good team?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's it. I'm fine with that. I'm not saying I'm not docking him for that particular thing. I'm just not I'm just not impressed with his ability to see a hurt opponent and get him out of there. That thing, like the finishing thing.
Yeah, I got you. I will agree that he doesn't have like Tank Davis one-punch knockout power. But the thing is
even Floyd. Like Floyd wasn't that. He didn't have that much power. But if he got you hurt, he would pour that shit on until you cripple and have the ref would stop it or something. Like you had to.
I disagree.
Floyd, I mean, I'm talking about Pretty Boy Floyd, like when he just threw combinations.
I know. I disagree. I think Floyd had a hell of a lot of power. And as Pretty Boy Floyd, he stopped a lot of people. Like he was on.
Yeah, but it was accumulation. That's what I'm saying. He'd beat the entire shit out of him, and he'd get him out. Like once you see that a guy is hurt, you stumble, and then that's when you pour it on to get him out of there. Right. But Loma he just does the same thing, where like it's just the guy can't compete with it, but he doesn't turn up. There's not another gear.
But you got to understand, with most guys that are one-punch KO artists, when they throw that one shot, they're very reckless. They're not very defensive oriented. They put it all, they commit into the shot. Now, they may time it, they may look for it, they may see their opening, but when they let loose on that shot, they're very exposed. Whether it be a Deontay Wilder, a Mike Tyson, like Mike Tyson used to leap off of his feet to get some knockouts. And if he would have got caught at that moment, he would have been on his ass, hurt or not, because he would have had no balance. There's a lot of one-punch knockout artists that they commit to that offense when they go for the kill. the thing is, Floyd is very smart and he never fully committed to a shot. So that's why he accumulated. And like whenever he became older in Money Mayweather, people were like, oh, he doesn't have power. But every time he hit somebody with a jab or a straight, he would stop them dead in their tracks, which tells me he had a whole lot of power. He was just too defensive oriented to exploit that power. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, he also had brittle hands.
Well, yeah, with the one throw.
Like the one knee he took was because of broken hand, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's just But yeah, I mean, I feel like he has pop and all that. I feel like he has. I don't know. He probably has more pop than Loma. Like Loma's like, I mean, was it Rocky Martinez that he like just he did him dirty? He did Anthony Corolla dirty too. Damn, that was a nasty knockout. But yeah, like generally, like he's not out there just like sleeping people and all that.
Right, but you got to understand too that this is his third weight
Maybe.
class. Like the Nomos stopped when he went up to 135. Like it was
Yeah.
4 people in a row, I believe, at 130. But the minute he went up to 135, that shit stopped because eventually the rubber meets the road. You know what I mean? Like this is the highest Lomachenko could go. He would not survive at 140. He's a 3. I mean, and that's great to be a 3 division champion, but he couldn't go 4 or 5. He couldn't do it like Canelo, Mayweather, Manny, Roy Jones. You know what I mean? Like he just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
But,
no, I get that. Yeah, dimensions limited. He even got to it late. He went pro at 26.
Yeah, he was like 26, coming from the Olympics twice. But a lot of Eastern Europeans, they stay like the Cubans way too long in the amateurs.
Yeah, I think that is one of the things you didn't really touch on that I think is going to be a factor in this fight is that Loma is not really a 3 minutes for 12 round fighter. Like he fights, they even talk about how he like downloads information and all this other stuff. You could call it a slow start, but even if he starts fast, he will I don't know, he'll parse his outfit, his actual output, like his maximum gears where he just goes for it all. He probably does that for like 5 rounds, maybe 6 at the most. Right. But generally he's just like either he'll lose a couple of rounds while he's, what they say, downloading information or whatever. And then he does just enough to win the rounds or be competitive in rounds. And you could give it to him. Right. But then he'll like turn all the way up and just go for like full blast, full bore. And I think he can only maintain that for like 5 or 6 rounds. I think that's a product of him, that extensive amateur experience where it's just harder to become like a full-on professional, like Errol Spence or Sean Porter, something like that, where those dudes just like fight every minute of every round.
Right, but here's the thing, like, and this is where I agree with you, and this is going to be his biggest downfall is the fact that he does download information, but he does it differently. Like coming back to Floyd Mayweather, right? Floyd would take off the first 1 or 2 rounds to download information. However, while he was downloading that information, he was so good defensively that he was still landing shots to win the rounds, even though he wasn't that active. The problem with Lomachenko is he has no activity while he's downloading the fight. So my thing is, when most people are saying what I've heard on a lot of channels that he's going to be down anywhere from 2 to 4 rounds before Devin gets in the ring, I think Loma's already down 2 rounds before he gets in the ring based off of what we've seen him do. I don't think he's going to come out there in the first round guns blazing or the second round. He may not even get started to the 3rd or 4th round, probably the 4th round. So if he does that, if he allows Devin Haney to already be up 3 to 4 rounds before the fight's even started, he's lost. There's no way, because Devin's going to win at least 3 rounds. If Loma's fighting full force, Devin's going to win at least 3 rounds. So if he doesn't start to the 4th round, he's already lost the fight, in my opinion. It's over. So that's a big weakness that I see in Lomachenko is that downloading the data, which you brought up, which he cannot afford to do. He's got to go from round 1 on because Devin's not the guy that you want to be down on the scorecards against because he's very smart. He's very good in the clinch. He knows how to work the clock to his advantage, and he'll do it. You still there, Smoke?
Yeah, I'm here. I totally agree.
But again, the $1 million question is going to be who controls the clinch. Because if Devin's not strong enough to hold Loma still, he'll lose this fight. He'll lose it. If Loma can get his hands free and beat him up in the pocket, he'll have no answer because he's not good on the inside. But the thing is I have to base it off what I've seen, and what I've seen is Devin's like a fucking grizzly bear. Once he bear hugs you, it's over. There's nobody. You're not getting released. You're stuck. It's a tractor beam. You're in it till something steps in between, and that's the referee to separate it. Then he's right there, full distance again, sharpshooting you. Now you got to try to get your ground back. But Devin's also moving to work the clock. He's edging off the points. Like, Devin has only had 2 fights that I can think of to where he's actually been reckless, went for the knockout, and that was it. He did it against Linares, and then I would say against JoJo, he opened up a lot too, which got him hit. But against somebody like Lomachenko, which he showed against George Kambosos, he's not going to do that. He's not going to look for the knockout. He's going to look to win on points, and he has no problems winning on points.
Yeah, I think it's the fight, the intrigue in the fight is what happens in the mid range. I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion what happens at close range or at long range. I think the clinching can dampen Loma's effectiveness, but it doesn't. I don't know. I think Devin Haney, he's going to have to do more than just clinch, and I think that gives Loma an opportunity. I think I think he'll outscore Haney if it's a fight on the inside. But at mid range, I'm very interested to see what happens there because Loma is essentially a mid range fighter. The thing about Loma is, once he's in your kitchen, he doesn't stay there. He does his work and then he dips out and he starts the process all over again. So Haney's going to have opportunities to create the distance that Loma gives him. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just whether or not he's can. Yeah, I don't know. It's the mid range stuff. If he beats Haney at the mid range, then he has a really good chance of winning this fight.
Yeah, I just the thing is against Haney, he can't afford to go in and out. He's got to use angles and stay close. He's got to get his shots off in mid range, like you said, and rely on Haney to grab. Basically, what I'm saying is, from the time it starts at long range, right? They're furthest distance apart. Haney's going to score at least a couple of jabs while Loma's trying to counter and come in. When Loma gets to the pocket, or we won't say quite in the pocket, when he gets mid-range, he's got to let his hands go all the way to the pocket so that when Devin grabs him, he scored more shots on Devin at that moment from mid to close than he got scored on him coming from far away.
Exactly.
So I don't think he can afford to get out the kitchen. He's got to come into the kitchen, stay in the kitchen until the referee kicks him out of the kitchen. That's the only way he can win, because if he goes out, like you say, he'll take too many shots. He won't score enough.
Yeah, that's that's their style, man. He's a lateral move. He doesn't use the whole outward apron, but he does that side step in. He exits and enters the pocket, and that's when he gets vulnerable. I think that as he shifts, you can do the turn with him. You can figure that out. But that exit and entering the pocket the way he does is just like, I think this is against the wrong guy. Yeah, we'll see. If he stays in the kitchen and just throws combination, all of a sudden becomes a phone booth fighter, I'd be very interested to see him do that. He just hasn't done it ever.
Well, he stayed in the pocket before, Loma.
He was there like when Linares dropped him. He came out and he stayed there for a hot minute. But even then, that's how he got dropped against Linares, doing that, exiting pocket, right?
He got dropped against Linares because he put his hands down, was laughing at him, did like a little skip towards him, and got caught coming in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was the entering the pocket thing. He did like the way he does.
Yeah, but he was like bullshitting with Linares. Like,
I'm just saying.
Bolton bullshit that he likes to do, which is fine. That's cool. but it bit him in the ass that time. But
Yeah, I mean, him being serious or not serious is just like I was just pointing out the tendency.
yeah, I got you. The thing is, I will say this: Lomachenko is really going to test Devin's chin because Devin's going to get hit, and Loma does have pop. He may not have a one-punch knockout, but he can thud. And I truly believe win, lose, or draw, Devin's going to get hit more in this fight than any fight in his career. So we're going to see what he's made of. Can he take shots? I know that's been a big question mark. And a lot of times when guys that aren't used to getting hit start getting hit, they normally fold. So that's another thing. Can Devin take the pressure? Can he take the hits? Will he want to take it? We just saw Ryan Garcia, who I love. He couldn't take it. He gave up, and he admitted it on camera. So that just threw out the, anything else. He literally said he didn't want to get up. He could have beat the count. So
he said because of the rib. I don't know what the hell happened to his ribs, but I mean, he gave a reason why that seemed like a pretty good reason to not try to go in there. Like you had a broken rib somehow, like ooh, or you think you have a broken rib. I saw him wince in pain once he got up. It seemed like the dude was fucked up.
Yeah, I know that one guy. I think he's like Mongolian or some shit. Was over there telling Tank about the body shot that he hurt him with in training. So there's that aspect of it too, because Tank was already alluded to. He knew he was hurt to the body before the fight.
Yep, he did say that. You didn't get dropped in sparring. You get drafted by, yeah, I remember. Yep, that was a feature. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not on the young man like that, but other people are. Yeah, whatever. It seemed like he seemed fucked up. He seemed fucked up to me.
Nah, he could have beat the count. He could have beat the count. Now, would he have got put back down? Probably. But
No, I'm just saying, like, if it was my issue was he injured? Like, so you can be hurt, and then the other thing is, are you injured? If this dude was injured,
it doesn't matter.
especially with his rib cage, I mean, continuing to fight,
it doesn't matter.
You can call it. I mean, I'm saying, like, I liked Ugas's thing. Like, he just went out. He's like, no, he seemed genuinely upset that the ref stopped the fight. But the dude then spent the next 40 days in the hospital trying to rearrange his eye. And still hasn't gotten the ring since. Like,
right. But Ugas didn't give up. He wanted to keep.
No, he didn't. He did not. I'm just saying, like,
keep going further. Look at Deontay Wilder. I'll die in the ring. He means that shit.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm not mad at it. I'm just not mad at the other thing either.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't have a preference. Is my issue. I just don't have a preference. Like, it is. If you want to keep doing to the point you like, here's the thing. I don't want to see Deontay Wilder die in the ring. Like, he might want to do all that, and that's cool to say. And he displayed that, he's going to keep punching as long as he can hold his arms up. That's cool. That's cool. I'm just saying, if a guy doesn't think it, like, he's like, when Kell Brook took that knee against Errol Spence, and then had to get his because he had another broken orbital. I wasn't mad. When Victor Ortiz got his jaw broken by Josecito Lopez. I mean,
no. Check this out, Smoke. You bring up when Earl Spence did it, but when Triple G did it to him the first time, he kept going. It was his corner that stopped it. He didn't want the fight to stop. The first time he got his orbital bone broke. Then you look at like Inouye when he fought Donaire. He kept going through the injury.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's worth talking about.
Smoke. My only point is this is my point. I like Ryan Garcia. I said that I thought he was the best lightweight out there. I think he had a lot of things working against him in this fight that he shouldn't have accepted, but that's his fault for doing it. I don't believe he was 100% when he got in that ring, but that's his fault for taking the fight. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how hurt you are, how injured you are. Somebody that has the mentality to win no matter what is going to get up if they can. Like, if their legs aren't broken, if their lights aren't turned out, and they have the ability to get up, no matter the pain, they're going to get up. They're going to fight on until they cannot fight no more.
Yeah, that's what those guys. I'm just saying. Here, go ahead.
Ryan lacks that. He lacks the true heart of a champion, because a true champion will not accept defeat.
Yeah, I definitely they like the heart of a champion. Um, that I think champions have different kinds of hearts. Um, but anyway, but that's a separate issue. But him lacking that, I'm going to go through it no matter what. That seems to be an issue. Um, I mean, if you go, Gary Russell Jr., right? He was clearly in there with one arm,
Right.
and he fought to the end with the one arm.
He
And
should
I
have won.
thought he actually did enough to win the fight, in my
He should
opinion.
have won the fight. He fought better with one arm than he did with two.
But I thought he did enough to win. That he didn't get the nod, whatever. Um, the that kind of thing. Um, yeah, I don't know that that's Ryan Garcia. It doesn't seem to. I don't know that it's beyond him, but he hasn't displayed it yet. He did get up off the canvas off a pretty bad knockdown. Um, he didn't mind getting up against Tank and against Luke Campbell. So him getting dropped and getting up and still trying to fight him to compete hard. To me, he's shown that. So like, and then also once he did get up, like that wince that he gave seemed to indicate to me. At first, I didn't think it was an act, and then also it seemed to indicate that he couldn't continue.
There's a huge difference here. So here's the difference when he got up against Tank and when he got up against Luke Campbell. In both instances, he was winning. He wasn't being dominated. He wasn't losing. He was up against Luke Campbell, and then he got dropped. He got up, regained his composure. When Tank dropped him, he was dominating him in that second round till he got dropped. He won every second of that second round till he got sloppy and got caught like Rolly did. So he got up because he had seen himself dominating him. However, when he got dropped that second time, the momentum had shifted. He was behind. He was losing, and he knew it. He knew he was in there against somebody who was better than him, who was beating him, and he had a decision to make. Do I want to go against all odds and try to win, or do I just want to say fuck it and move on? And he chose the latter. Fuck it, move on. That's the difference.
Well, I mean, he might be a front runner. That's a fair point. I think that yeah, I don't know. Getting up from getting dropped is just always like a plus to me, and then also just getting up and still giving it your all. That says a lot for me, and yeah. Anyway, like, see, for me, like the last time I said somebody quit was like AJ against Ruiz. I thought that was a clear quit. I don't think he got dropped from a punch. I think there was a voluntary knee. I think he spit his mouthpiece out, and then he went to his corner and didn't come out until the ref stopped him. Right. After a really long time, like that was more of a thing. I don't know. I don't think AJ was in, but he might have been. These people said he was concussed in sparring also. I don't know. But that's the last time I said somebody quit. I'm not generally like, I don't generally throw that out there. I don't know. It's a tough one. I can see both ends of it. Basically, I can see both ends. I can see both ends of it.
It's a lot easier to be winning something and then stumble while winning and continue. It's a lot harder to be losing,
I'm with you.
stumble, and then choose to continue.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think that's an excellent point.
Like, that's when your true colors show. When you're backed into a corner, when you have a true definitive decision to make, and there's only one or the other way. There's only two options. One, you lose. One, you continue. One, you run. One, you fight. When you're in that situation like Ryan was, that's when you see somebody's true character. It's not when you're looking good. Anybody can look good dominating people. It's not until you look bad for the first time.
Okay, I mean, I get you. I get where you're coming from. There was a Paulie said that about like Zab Judah, right? He's like, he's a quitter. The thing about it is, can you push him to the point where he gives up? And that was the issue, right? And maybe it sounds like that's what you're talking about. That like there's just something missing, right? There's something that idea that you're going to overcome adversity to get the W, and you're willing to die in there and all that stuff. And I can, yeah, listen, I can, what is it? I can appreciate that. I don't know that I don't know that I see it as the virtue that you seem to. But I definitely can't appreciate it, right? I see it, but whatever. I don't know. I want to see a fight. I don't need to see a massacre. I don't need to see a guy that like needs to be saved from himself and all that.
But you got to
That's
understand,
just me. That's
you got to understand though. You got to understand. This is what you got to understand. It's dumb. My virtue, what I see is dumb. In reality, is dumb. Deontay Wilder really, truly meaning he will die in the ring because he means it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts at this point. He
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
means
yeah,
it. And he
exactly.
would rather die. He would rather die than lose. The thing about it is, there's nothing smart about that. That's stupid. I agree with you. However, there's nothing smart about getting into a ring and fighting another person. There's nothing smart about getting punched in the face. You're already doing something that's not smart. You weren't meant to be beat up fight after fight after fight after fight. No matter how good you are, you're going to get hit. No matter how good your defense is, no matter how good your offense is, you're going to take blows. Your body's not meant to take those blows. So there's nothing smart about the sport to begin with. So that's why, to me, it doesn't matter if they give up and that that's a smart thing to do. They're already in a non-smart sport, so to say, when it comes to like your own.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a little bit of a stretch. I think that the smart thing. There's a thing about problem solving, right? That when intelligence is invoked for me,
That's
and
not what I'm saying.
if you're trying to solve like, crushing systemic poverty, right? And you're good at something, and they're paying a lot, you can, or you're just starved for attention. You just seek spotlights, so you want to be like famous for stuff. I don't know. There seems to be like boxing is an avenue to go into. So like it just depends on what problem you're trying to solve. Whether or not you're doing more harm than good to your body, as part of the calculus. Uh, I get that. I
No,
definitely
no,
get
no,
that,
no,
but
no,
I don't
no.
know that I don't know that like working at McDonald's is particularly good for your body.
No, no, no.
Um,
Listen to me, smoke. Listen to me, smoke. I'm not saying that people. I fought 32
yeah,
amateur fights. I'm not saying I'm stupid, and I'm not saying fighters who have fought are stupid. What not mentally stupid. Their IQ, I'm not saying is low. What I'm saying is fighting in general is stupid because you're causing harm when you enter a ring. Not so much in the amateurs, even though it has happened more in the pros. You're signing the unwritten contract that you may die in that ring, that you might not step out. That is a known by anybody who's ever fought. Anytime you spar, you know that one wrong punch could be the end of it. Now, the likelihoods of that is so low that you just put that risk out of your mind, but it's always there. It's never gone. So anything that you do that there's always the possibility that you're going to die is not smart to do. There's nothing smart about it. So again, when you look at the full extreme of it, and the nature of the beast, to me, a quitter will never succeed in the sport. It just won't.
yeah, it's just how you measure success, right? It's this kind of there's two. To me, boxing is like a two-pronged thing, right? It is generational wealth and Hall of Fame, right? So Ryan Garcia, I don't think he took the sport seriously enough to ever be a Hall of Famer. Now we're starting to get into some of the character flaws that may make him never a champion, right? So there are not our character are the not character flaws, attributes, right? Or lack of attributes. Maybe that separates the wheat from the chaff. Um, he may be a champ, but I think he still will be a champion at some point in his career. Maybe I don't know. He
But
might just
that's
give
the
up
thing,
too.
though. It comes back to what you said earlier. It doesn't matter if he becomes a champion. He still lacks the heart of a champion. See,
Yeah,
like you said, and you said something good earlier. Can you make him quit? Are you good enough to make him quit? The thing about it is, he may find a whole bunch of people who are not good enough to make him quit, and he'll win, and he'll repeatedly win, and he'll look good. However, when that guy comes along that's good enough to make him quit, he'll quit 100 out of 100 times, which means he ain't no real motherfucking champion.
ooh, I think Zav's a real champion though. Zav's nice, but I mean that was really the knock on Buster Douglas too. That he's a bit of a quitter.
Douglas?
Yeah, it's like he would, he just wouldn't rise to the occasion. He goes so far, but yeah, he didn't. He wouldn't do it. I mean, that was the whole thing about Mike Tyson. He was a good fighter, but when push comes to shove, he'd stop shoving and pushing. So, but not
No.
on that night though.
See,
That night, there's no quitting.
See, my thing is I disagree. The only reason why Mike Tyson lost is because Costamata died. Um, you there's this YouTube video that I watched a long time ago. I wish I would have saved it, but it actually breaks down like what Mike was doing well under Costamato, and then after he passed away and he went on with his career, you could just he went fight by fight by fight by fight and broke down how he quit doing what made him successful under Costamato, and it was just a slow
Yeah,
descent.
we're not.
Even
I
though he
don't
became a
disagree.
champion, even though he became undisputed, he was still a worse version of himself than he was several fights prior.
No, it's just the just the getting up thing. Like he had an extra thing. Like if Cuss hadn't died, would the fact that that dude's mom died made a difference? Possibly not. We won't ever know. It's kind of interesting to think about. It could be very well that Mike Tyson, no version of Buster Douglas was better than Mike Tyson than the Cuss. It doesn't matter who was on the shoulder and what battery's in his back. That could very well be the case, but we'll never know. He did die, and there was a battery in his back. And so,
No, he did. We'll never know. But it's just like another version of Mike Tyson, the white version of Mike Tyson, Tommy Morrison, who got destroyed by Ray Mercer, right? That dude ruined his career too from drugs, partying, and then he got the HIV on the set of Rocky. So when he lost to Ray Mercer, he was already having the effects of the HIV. It was just new around that time. Um, some of these fighters self-destruct like Michael did. Mike Tyson showed, I mean, not showed, but he's told the story several times that before he fought Buster Douglas, he was doing drugs. He was sleeping with the ugliest women you could ever see at the hotel. Like he was doing everything but training for that fight. So it's just some people self-destruct. And that's just an unfortunate thing. Like we're watching Earl Spence Jr. He's got all the potential in the world, but he's already been in 3 car wrecks. He stays drunk constantly, and eventually, at 33 years old, is going to catch up to where maybe the best version. If let's say Earl Spence was a gym rat like Terrence Crawford, maybe Bud could never beat him. But because of all this other shit, by the time this fight ever happens, if it does happen, we have a diminished version of what Earl is. Even though Earl still looks good, there's nobody that's going to tell me Earl Spence is as good as he was before the car wreck. I just don't believe it. That shit is wear and tear on the body. I don't care how good you look in the ring. It takes something out of
you. Yeah. I used to have him stopping Bud. Then I saw the Danny Garcia fight. I was like, nope, he ain't stopping Bud.
Yeah. Ray Mercer, I be who I be. He fucking, it looked like a fight night knockout how he did Tommy
Yeah,
Morrison.
I mean, Tommy Morrison was also bullshit. And he was like a hype job. He was like living the life. He was also like kind of just enamored with his success, his early notoriety, even though he hadn't really done shit. And then when he got knocked out, he like dedicated himself and he went on a really nice tear. But then, yeah, he also he was just kind of full of shit the whole time. So.
Well, he was undefeated whenever he fought Ray Mercer. That was his first.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying he was like his streak was it got him like he just got way more what was it? He got way more praise and a whole bunch of notoriety for fighting a whole bunch of guys that didn't fucking matter. Well, and then Ray Mercer thing exposed that entire thing.
That, him and Ray Mercer had fought before in the amateurs, and he lost to Ray Mercer. But another thing is you got to understand. I disagree with that because, like Mike Tyson, Tommy Morrison was a young teen, 14 years old, fighting grown men and knocking them the fuck out. So
yeah, I mean that's what I'm just saying. What Tommy Morrison said about it. Like in the aftermath of that, like redoubling his efforts and like he's like, okay, I cut out all the partying. I got I'm with trainers that do it. Like, I don't know. It might have been coping. It might have been trying to just like do damage control and refocus the narrative or whatever. But that was what he was saying.
Yeah, but his whole like I've seen documentaries on him. Like every person around him said that all he did was sleep with women and do drugs. That's all he fucking did his whole time. Like
yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I think he was doing that before and they were talking about how great he was and all that stuff while he was being like kind of a fuck up. And then
but that's what I'm
got
saying.
Exposed at it. Then he's like, oh no, I'm all that's partying, all that stuff that's behind me. I'm just gonna be done, become the champion of the world. No, whatever.
Yeah. He was still doing all that shit. But my only point was this: like all that partying caught up because Ray Mercer was an elite heavyweight fighter, and he came in there with an elite, and that shit catches up. All that partying, doing drugs, not training like you're supposed to, you can get away with that. If you're special, you can get away with that against other people who aren't special. But the minute that you meet somebody that's just as special as you or pretty close, then it catches up. And that's when a fight that you maybe should have won, you're not going to win. So it's the lifestyle. You got to have the lifestyle.
It very well could be. I mean, Hector Camacho was a fuck up long before he boxed. He had a pretty stellar career. I mean, I mean, his humor, I don't know. I'm of two minds, but I like each fighter for who they are. I don't necessarily think that a fighter should be a particular kind of way. Like if Deontay Wilder wants to die in the ring, cool. That's about what Deontay Wilder's about, and I can appreciate that in his fighting style. He talks about it and he fights like it. Cool, that's him. Ryan Garcia seems to be like a prima donna that uses boxing as for the opportunity that it affords him in life, and he fights like that too. And that's what I think of him. Like, it's not like I'm not, I could hear, I guess I never was high on Ryan Garcia like that. So his whole, like, the whole heart of a champion thing, I never attributed to him in the first place. Right? He just seemed like a guy who boxed, right? And he could box for the opportunity, use boxing for the opportunity that it presented. But during the quarantine, he was talking about how he made more money out of boxing than inside it. Like, when he said that shit, I was like, oh, this dude is just an opportunist. That's all.
Yeah, but you got to understand too that if Joe Goosen isn't already, which I think he is, he will be in the Hall of Fame as a trainer.
Yeah, he is in. Yeah, he's in.
Yeah, I thought he was. Joe Goosen, I saw this after the fight. I wish I would have seen it before the fight, but it was an interview. And this motherfucker said, you don't train Ryan Garcia. You work with him because he comes with his own nuances, and you just try to do your best to go along with him. And I'm thinking to myself, bruh, this dude has got a Hall of Fame coach and he ain't even fucking listening to him. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, Ryan would have kept on going on to beat the Fortunas. He would have kept on going on to beat the Luke Campbells. But the minute he stepped up against another elite, all that bullshit and he's done being a prima donna, thinking he could train himself, etc., it catches up.
I definitely agree with you there. Oscar wasn't trying to put him in the tank yet. He had a few more fights in the contract. Like, let me squeeze it. You got a few more drops to squeeze out before you get sacrificed to tank. You prima donna you. But anyway, it is I don't know. I think a lot of the backlash about Ryan Garcia has to do with people's like unrealistic expectations of him. And the guy just hadn't expressed any of the kinds of things people are like excoriating him for not having now. Like, he never showed heart. Like, he never showed, like, I mean, not, he showed the heart to get up. If he gets knocked down, he shows that kind of heart. But like you said, there's another thing about getting up when you get knocked down and you winning a fight versus losing a fight. Right. I can appreciate that. Definitely adversity, right? But yeah, how does a prima donna act under adversity? Generally, they feel like, I have other opportunities, right? That's what he felt like. He realizes life is okay with or without boxing. The event is going to sell well. He doesn't have to live at home with mom and dad, even if he was before. He certainly doesn't have to now. All right, they can get a compound now. Whatever. It is what it is. But for me, the Ryan Garcia was never that good. I didn't think he had the heart of a champion. I thought the guy was an opportunist. He seems to just be that kind of fighter. A guy who can box but isn't looking for boxing to be his legacy.
Yeah, I hear you, and that could be very true because he's definitely talked about the social media and how he makes all his money doing commercial ads and everything else. But at the same time, I look at Ryan and I see all the potential that he has. Like, when you see the speed, when you see the power, he's got so much potential, but it's wasted on him. And that shit happens all the time. Like a lot of people have all the potential in the world, but it's fucking wasted on them. And in my opinion,
he's not willing to do the hard shit. Like in training, like his hands are really nice, but his feet are fucking atrocious. So like he didn't develop like.
But
like, everyone
it
continues
comes down
to
to
do
what I
fucking
said.
training.
It comes down to what I said.
Yeah.
If you're telling your trainer how you're going to train yourself, then you're never going to get better. Like he could have been working on those fundamentals of his feet and all of that with Joe Goosen. But like Joe Goosen said, you don't train Ryan Garcia. You just kind of work with him and let him do his thing. Like,
Now is that now did that come from Goosen or did Ryan tell him, look, man, you don't coach me, you just watch me? Did that come from Ryan or was that Goosen?
No, Goosen said that. Goosen said that he wasn't really training him, that Ryan does what he does and he just works his best with him.
Yeah, but that's not really a surprise. When Eddie Reynoso tried putting the boot down on Ryan left him. So,
yeah. I mean, Ryan lost the fight, but I did a week before this guy got fired. I was like, they need to fire Joe Goosen because of shit like that. You don't. He's the most amazing fighter I've ever seen in my life. That's how he was talking in the press conference. So, you so caught up in how he looked that you didn't get this man a game plan. It didn't seem like.
I think Joe was just hyping it up, to be honest, because he wasn't there at the post-fight press conference because he was embarrassed.
Nobody was. They all abandoned him. Every single person.
Well, I mean, look, he knows everything.
Yeah, bro. I fell for Ryan, bro. That's shit weak. Bernard, Oscar, all that shit.
Yeah, Oscar was on a good one. After we was talking about alien abductions, death threats. Yeah, he was just in his Oscar bag. Oscar is enjoying life.
No, he deserved that.
Better living through chemistry.
No, he deserves it because when Oscar De La Hoya told him to take a tune-up, he said no. When Oscar De La Hoya told him, let me renegotiate the contract to favor you a little more, him and his lawyer were hearing none of it. So, I mean, if you're a big man, if you got all the answers, go stand up on stage by yourself, man. It is what it is. Fuck it.
Damn, that's pretty petty. It's kind of petty. Hey, I'm sure Oscar's mad that he didn't get more cash out fights. Like he wanted to squeeze that lemon a little bit more, but
do y'all agree with this statement right here that Haney's never fought anybody as fast as Loma? Do y'all agree with that?
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if that Loma is not as fast as he used to be. I don't know.
It might be the same way on the flip side. I know Teo's quick, but is he faster than Devin?
Gary Russell was kind of fast back in the day. I don't even think Loma is as fast as he used to be. Like he didn't seem particularly fast in his last few fights.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I truthfully don't know if Loma foot speed. Now I'm not talking about technical IQ, ability, all that. We know he's much better night and day, but I don't know if he's faster than Kambosos.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he is actually. I think Kambosos is pretty fucking quick.
How does he approach this fight? You think, Tony? If you Lomachenko, how do you approach Devin Haney in this fight?
So hold on, I'll do that, Black. I did it at the beginning of the stream, and I'll break it down again. But before I do that, let me hear what you and Jimmy have to say about this fight, and then I'll get into it.
Devin and Lomachenko?
Yeah, how do y'all see it going? And then I'll tell you how I see it.
Oh, okay. I think that I kind of agree with Devin Haney when he said that Lomachenko should have fought him back then instead of waiting till now, and how he said it's going to be worse for him. I think I agree with Devin Haney. He should have got him then. I think Devin Haney got the experience. He's more mature. He got all the belts. He got all the momentum in his favor. And I'm gonna be real with you, man. One thing I pay attention to is what the fighters say leading up to the fight. Look at the face-offs, see the demeanor, see how they respond to questions. Loma don't look like a confident fighter to me. The passion he had to become undisputed before was way different than what he got now. I feel like his pressure on him, he's being kind of like forced to take this fight because it's the last chance. Bob Arum, no Devin Haney is going after this. So Loma is the best guy that he got right now to go after Devin Haney and get them belts. So it don't seem like he's as sure of himself as he was when Devin Haney wasn't, a chairman. He was just a basic top contender. But I got Devin Haney winning on points and pretty easily. If Lomachenko can maybe turn back the hands of time and look young in there or something like how he did against Nakatani, then we're gonna have a hell of a fight. But he gonna have to be on his A game. But yeah, that's my prediction. Devin Haney by decision.
All right,
I have
yeah.
bro, I flip-flopped on this a little bit. Originally I had Lomachenko, then I went back and watched some film. I lean more towards Devin Haney. As far as Lomachenko not being confident, I 100% disagree with that because Lomachenko has actually given Devin Haney a portion of his purse for this fight, and that was the only way to resolve the Haney's grievance with the money because they wanted more money for this fight. Um, so I think it's the biggest fight for both men. I mean, we know Tank Davis isn't interested in fighting Devin Haney, and at 140, I doubt Devin Haney wants to get knocked out by Regis Prograis for $1 million. So I think when you look at both men, um, same for Machenko. I mean, he's got a shot at all the belts in one fight. So I think both men kind of need each other. For Devin Haney, he needs this fight because Tank and Ryan have made it clear many times over the last several years they don't want to fight him. And like I said, at 140, I don't really give him any kind of chance against Regis Prograis. And it'll probably be for less than half the money. Um, so yeah, I think both men need each other, because this is Devin Haney's first pay-per-view, and it's his first fight headline in Vegas. And I think Lomachenko probably has something to do with that, right? Or else these sort of metrics would be involved prior, you know. I think it's a big fight. I think it's a good fight. Almost 50-50. I lean towards Haney because of, the basics, size, youth, momentum. I think politics will favor Haney. I think being a young, undefeated American champion who's in his mid-20s, who Top Rank could milk for nearly a decade, compared to a 35-year-old Ukrainian who looks like he's on his way out. I think the establishment would definitely favor Haney. Like I said, he's got more mileage in him, and he's an American, so he's just more sellable at this stage. He's been more active in recent years. I think Haney's actually improving technically as a boxer. Um, I think it's his time. I think a few years ago, I think Haney was really raw and green when he was struggling with guys like Jojo and getting hurt by guys like Linares. But see, the Jojo fight is one fight that really does concern me a little for Haney because Jojo is he's not really that good though, for honest. And he was landing a lot of left hands on Devin Haney, and he's a southpaw, but he doesn't really have the kind of speed, power, agility, angle, skill, or IQ of Lomachenko, even at this stage. And he gave Devin Haney all he could handle. So that's probably concerning. I think Lomachenko hits just as hard as Linares. And Linares did make Haney do the chicken dance. So I think Lomachenko's a very live dog, but very live underdog, sorry. But I would definitely favor Haney just because of politics and size and momentum and youth. And I think he's closer to his one guy. So it's like a shooting star versus a falling star, So that's just my thoughts on it.
So
I don't know what you mean by politics, but yeah.
I'm gonna touch on something you said about he doesn't look confident. So I don't know if you saw this, but I peeped this. So way back before Loma fought Teofimo Lopez, they had a photo shoot. And whenever Loma walked up to Tio, he was talking to the people around the camera. He was saying, he's so big. He's so big. Like he was enamored by the size of Tio. Now, he lost Tio. He looked very gun shy for the first 6 rounds. And you could attribute that to maybe it was the size that he was looking at. Now, let's fast forward to when he just met Haney in the ring. He looked at Haney and said, are you a lightweight or a heavyweight? Are you a lightweight or a heavyweight? So I'm starting to get like reminiscent of what the Tio thing was. And I'm almost scared that maybe the size intimidates him and he's going to be gun shy again. I don't know if it's foreshadowing, but he said it about Tio and now he said it about Haney. So that's already right there negative for me. As far as Nakatani is big, but Nakatani doesn't look like Devin. So there's not a lot of fear against Nakatani. Although Nakatani did have T.O. crying in the ring, talking about, I'll never fight another tall guy. Anyways, I digress.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Back to the point. This is a fight about distance. Who controls the distance the best? Can Haney keep Loma at bay, or can Loma breach and stay mid to close range? It's also going to come down to the clinch. Can Haney hold him in the clinch, or is Loma's wrestling ability, which he's always been able to do, to get his hands free and hit him in the clinch? That's what it's really going to come down to. I favor Devin. I'm not going to make an official prediction until I see him weigh in, because I will say this. As much as I favor Devin, if he comes in looking like a refugee, looking like a zombie, looking like Kell Brook when he fought Terrence Crawford, just dead on the scale, because I don't believe he needs to be at 135 any longer, then I'm probably going to slightly edge Lomachenko. Like,
if he looks like he did in his last weigh-in, if he comes in looking like that again,
if
you got
He's
Loma.
gonna look like that.
it
Bro.
is a potential, he could look worse. He could look worse than that this time.
No, I'm just saying, if he looks like the last time we saw him, do you still favor him?
No, I'm gonna favor Loma, because, like I said, at the elite level, if you're not 100%, even if you're better than somebody, you just being 1 or 2% off, they're gonna beat you. They're gonna beat you at this level. And if he looks like he did against Campbell,
but can I ask you a question though?
Go ahead.
I mean, even though, like, say in his last weigh-in, he looked like, like a refugee, a runaway Ethiopian or some shit. But on fight night, was his performance affected?
The thing about it is, though, is he wasn't fighting an elite. He wasn't fighting Lomachenko. He wasn't fighting a Teofimo Lopez. Even though Teo lost to George Kambosos, there's still a lot more danger with a Teo because of the power of the punch. I do rate George, but I don't think he's an elite. And the thing is I believe a 90%, an 85% at this point, Devin could beat a George. But I don't believe an 85% or 90% Devin could beat a Lomachenko ever. I don't care if it was 3 years from now and Devin's even better. Like, there's levels, and once you get to the top level, you got to be 100% against other.
About those levels you talking about, Tony, I mean, the levels that Lomachenko used to fight on, I don't know if he on that level no more, man. He's not the same fighter. So, I mean, I know you're saying that, Devin got to be probably damn near 100%, but I don't know, man, because I haven't really seen Lomachenko look all that lately, especially not in his last performance.
Both Teo and Loma went into surgery after that fight. I don't know. Neither one of them were 100%. I don't know that any fighter's ever like really 100%. Yeah, I don't even know if Loma's 100% now. Like, why he wanted to wait until May? Like, what was the point of that? If we saw ring rust in his last fight, why prolong it?
Ramadan. He was banking on Ramadan to weaken Devin. Tell us.
Don't start putting him out there, bro. You gonna put Loma shit out there?
I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. But somebody in my chat earlier said that Devin said that he's not doing Ramadan. So.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he said he wasn't.
No, he did it.
Yeah, I know that they were talking about potentially not doing that, and I know he went on his Hajj during that last fight in Saudi.
He didn't do it. If you watch Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the docu-series, he said that this time they're sitting it out, but instead they'll make up for it through charity. Because you can do it because, obviously being Muslim myself, right, I do observe Ramadan when I can. If you do charity work, you can make up for it, but then you have to circle back around and complete so you could, as soon as the Lomachenko fight is over, you can make up for the fasts. But in between, he was doing a lot of charity work in LA, handing out lots of food. So I think he'll be healthy and strong heading into the fight.
Yeah, but here's the fact of the matter is still this, and it still remains. Whether he adhered to Ramadan or not, they purposely did it during Ramadan to make him weaker. That's just the facts.
I think what Jimmy is saying is that he's still adhering to Ramadan.
Back to my point about Loma not being 100%.
He just doesn't have to. He doesn't have to like fast. That's what he's saying. He's like, he has to. Well, he doesn't have to fast during the month, but he does have to do something in order to adhere.
I'm not saying that saying is smoke, because I understand what he said, that because he's doing charity work, it kind of bypasses it or prolongs it, and then after the fight, he
Yeah, but they're hoping that he would fast and be weaker. Like that's what I'm saying. They're banking on that. I get what you're saying too.
Yeah, they were banking on him following it strictly, not doing charity work, not prolonging it, so he would be diminished that much more getting into the ring. That's what I truly believe.
Yeah,
So Tony, to go back to the confidence thing I was talking about.
No, I agree with you. Like, he even did an interview. I don't remember. It was like an ESPN interview, and they showed him talking, and he was like, yeah, this is my last chance, right? And then after he said that, he like lips something, but no words come out. You just see his mouth move, and then they cut off the camera. Like, the dude's definitely having thoughts. Like, this is it. My back's against the wall. This is the point of no return. He's probably, can I beat him? I don't know. But
I think Tony, that's
I will say this. Hold on, Jimmy. Let me say this right now. If Loma goes in there, and this is a big if he goes in there and beats the shit out of Devin Haney, then we know 4 years ago he would have destroyed him.
Yeah, it's a fact. You won't be hearing me make no excuses. If he beat the shit out of Devin Haney, I'm like, God damn, man. It's levels. But, you know what I mean? We got to see. But I'm just talking about from my observation. I don't really see that confidence. And even they said something about, like, Devin Haney told him, like, he can't, I do everything better and stuff. He was just like, how does he know? He's not training with me. We're not hitting bag together. We're not hitting mitts and side by side. It's almost like he was going through his mind, like, doubt. That's what I see. Like, I see supreme confidence with Devin. I see Lomachenko with some doubts, and hopefully I get the job done. This is my last chance, you know. It's kind of like that thing to me. I could be wrong. Loma might blazing. I don't know. But just my observation, one fighter looks supremely confident and ready to show the world, like, this motherfucker not on my level. Lomachenko is like, well, I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to give it my all, and this is my last chance.
He likened Haney's jab to Ryan Garcia's left hook. Like, if that's all you got, then good fighters will figure that out. I'm like, okay. Hey, I don't know if you just jacking Tank's thing or like for pub, or if you really think all Devin Haney is a jab.
Hey, but would his jab be a factor in this fight? You think his jab is still going to be effective?
It's going to be effective. It'll definitely be effective. It's always going to be effective. It's just, can Devin keep him at bay with it? He's definitely going to land shots on him. But, I mean, another question, too, is like, Loma has a very good chin. That dude has a very good chin. Can Devin generate enough power to keep him off of him, too? That's the other thing.
It's not that. Here's the thing. Loma is not some seek and destroy guy. He's a rhythm guy. So you don't really have to knock him out. You can just disrupt his rhythm, and he has to restart his whole shit.
Yeah, but you got to be able to hit him hard enough for him to respect you.
It's not a respect thing. Like, if you hit him like mid step, like in the middle of him about to make his step, then he'll do that little rhythm step again, and then start the whole process again. He's just a rhythm fighter. So like, if you disrupt that guy's rhythm, then he doesn't get go. Like, I don't know. I think
definitely a rhythm fighter for sure.
Schmo, if you throw a pebble at a wave, it's not going to disrupt the rhythm of the wave. The wave is going to keep rolling at you. Like,
the pebbles. Like,
I'm just saying, like, he's got to have enough pop to disrupt that rhythm. And I don't. This is going to be. We're going to learn a lot about that.
I mean, Pedraza. Do you think that Pedraza is some big puncher? I don't think Pedraza is the biggest puncher. I don't know if he has more pop than Dev. I don't think so. But he wasn't even sitting down his punches, and that was the thing that was keeping him in the fight, because he didn't have Devin's feet, right? So he's like a little bit like, hey, he's a little bit more stationary than actually a lot of bit more stationary than Devin. So his thing to maintain the distance was just not to commit, and I think he did pretty well with that, like disrupting Loma's thing.
Hey, Tio a bigger puncher than Lomachenko, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. I mean, I think Kambosos took the power of Tio very well. And then when he fought Devin Haney, even though he didn't get stopped, you look at his face, the state of his face, bro.
Yeah, but
so you talking about them pebbles? That's a lot of pebbles that cause a lot of pebble marks.
Yeah, but you got to understand too, though, Black. Tio did the work for George. He came at him aggressively the whole fight, whereas Devin was moving away from George the whole fight. So had Tio been smart and been counterpunching, then it may have been a different story. But he He ran at him like a ram. Like, it was stupid. I knew he was going to do it. I could tell Tio was going to fight that way from the jump. That's why I didn't really give him much of a shot to beat him. But yeah, I agree with you. George Kambosos' face in the second fight was all bruised up, lumped up. But I mean, that's accumulation. Like, if you get hit enough, you're gonna have bruising. But the question is, when the adrenaline's high, does it hurt?
The key is for Lomachenko is trying to get Devin Haney to possibly throw more punches than he's used to throwing early on, so that he possibly, fades. Because I think there's been times where we've seen Devin kind of fade a little bit. I think a little bit in the Linares fight, maybe a little bit of the JoJo fight where he stopped moving and kind of staying in there in the pocket. So I would think that's Lomachenko's best bet. Try to just really apply pressure to him early on and try to get Devin to throw more punches, because when you're trying to keep somebody off you, you're gonna have to throw a lot of punches. So if Lomachenko defense is sharp early on and he can make Devin Haney miss a lot early, he may have a chance in the mid to late rounds, like kind of how he did with Tio. But you can't wait too late. You know what I mean? You got to bank some rounds. You can't just allow this dude to bully you.
Well, yeah, that's true. And that's the thing. Like, Loma's a very slow starter. We brought this up earlier. Like, Loma normally takes 2 to 3 to 4 rounds to analyze what's going on. And if you get behind on the scorecards against Devin, 3-4 rounds, in round 1 to 4, you've already lost. The fight's over. You can't win unless you knock him out, because he's going to win 2 to 3 rounds no matter how good you fight. He's going to bank some rounds. So Loma has to start from round 1. He cannot afford to get behind.
Even if he starts at round 1, he's going to be taking them rounds off. Loma can't do 12.
He's not going to start at round 1. I'd say start at round 3, because he usually won with like 4th, but 3.
Even
collect that in the
even
first
still,
2
he
and get busy in the third.
To me, he only has 5 or 6 rounds in him, competing at his highest gear. I don't think I don't know. He just doesn't. He's not a 12-round fighter like that.
He definitely got to pace himself, but he's going to have to get Devin, take some of that steam out, go to the body and make Devin miss a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a choice.
Stay away from
that whole outside this thing, like him like dancing around and being outside of range, that makes it seem like Devin is winning the fight, because that's the distance. That's the Devin Haney fight.
Yeah, he's
gonna have to break the distance. Sure. Oh yeah, he's got to break the distance and do something.
I mean, he's got to be able to control the clinch. That is the main thing. I have no doubts in my mind that he'll get on the inside. He's going to take shots getting in, but he'll get in. But if he gets in and he's immediately wrapped up, then he's lost. Like, if he gets wrapped up every time he gets in and he can't do nothing in the clinch, it's over. To me, that's really going to be the telltale sign. Like, what happens in the clinch? Can he get a hand free? Can he work them? Can he work out of the clinch, or is the referee going to have to come in and separate them? If the referee has to come in and separate them, the fight's over. It's over. Put a fork in it. It's done.
I think it'll be how he varies the clinch, right? He just can't clinch every time. He's going to have to vary that uppercut. He has the right left hook, which is good for a southpaw, good against the southpaw. And then like vary that in with the clinching, right? That's what I'm saying. Like the mid range is really where this fight is going to be like won or lost, in my opinion. Like how they control that thing, which guy is able to exert his game plan over mid range.
Haney don't throw uppercuts though. That's the one tool that he really lacks, because he had so many opportunities to land the uppercut on Kambosos and he never pulled the trigger.
No, he pulled it. I mean, he threw a couple. And that's what varied the attack. That's what
2 and 12.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what varies his attack, so you don't know if he's gonna clinch. He doesn't he'll clinch like 3 times and then maybe throw an uppercut once, maybe hit you a left hook, maybe pivot outside, maybe act like he's gonna do it. Like he disguises his clinch.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's gonna come down to power.
Hey, man, we need to check who the damn ref is, bro.
I have no idea. If it's Tony Weeks, after what, and I love Tony Weeks. Tony Weeks is one of my favorite refs, but after what he did with Rolly, I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, that
Go ahead,
Kovalev
Mr. Haney.
stoppage, people are still mad about that. Kovalev Ward.
He refereed that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, get Tony out of here, man. Not Tony's reviews, Tony Weeks. Yeah, man. That and then I was looking on box. Hey, why is DeBella involved in this?
Because the Haneys really liked him during the George Kambosos thing. Apparently, he was like instrumental in getting Bill over there last minute.
Oh, I was looking on box rec. It
Oh,
said top ranked DeBella
check it out.
Entertainment. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
he likes it. Yeah.
Hold on. Breaking news. I just Googled the shit. Tony Weeks was the referee for this fight, but it says here on Google, in light of what happened with Rolly and Barros, that it's now going to be Harvey Dock. That's the ref for the fight.
oh, so they swapped him.
Yeah, they swapped him.
Good job, top
Yeah, I'm
rank,
not quite
whoever.
sure about Harvey Dock's propensity. Like Tony Weeks just lets you fight, generally. But apparently he didn't give old boy a chance to keep fighting, which is kind of messed up. But that's generally his thing. Like Maidana literally was gnawing on Floyd's fucking hand. Tony Weeks wasn't tripping.
Yeah, but I don't know. That was a horrible stoppage. Like I didn't watch the fight because it was Rolly fighting a dude who looks 60. Even though they say he's 40, I don't believe that shit. The dude looks 60. But I wish I would have watched it because from the highlights, Rolly was getting his ass whooped. And then
Yeah, I recorded it, so I got through half of it, and haven't gone back. Just because people were like talking about it, but I don't really like talking about Rolly.
No. To add to that fight, I heard Rolly got dropped and Tony ruled it a slip.
Yeah. Oh, really? I thought both guys got dropped and they were counted, but I don't know. Yeah, I'll see it out. I'm gonna watch it in the next couple of days.
No, I was told that like Barros hit Rolly, he fell, and Tony said that their feet got tangled, so it was a slip, not a knockdown. The fix was in. That's all it is.
Yeah, the elderly are up against it, right? Society doesn't want to see them.
I'll be right back, y'all.
But yeah, like Rolly's yeah,
My
Rolly's
bad. What y'all on? I had to mute.
What are you guys talking about? I just jumped back on. What are you guys talking
Why you
about?
bringing up Rolly, Smoke?
What happened?
No, that was the Tony Weeks thing.
Oh,
Talking
yeah,
about the ref for the fight, the ref for Lomachenko and Dev. It's supposed to be
What is
Tony
it?
Weeks.
Tony Weeks?
Hey, he's not even the
Tony
Reggie
Weeks.
champ. He the super champ. Smoke.
Hey, what'd you say about?
He the super champ. We got to put some respect on his name, bro.
The super duper champ. Talk about bringing shame to the game, though. I don't know about respect on his name. Yeah, I don't know about that. Rolly can't fight.
Would you say that was the most disgraceful stoppage you've ever seen, at least in
It
body
was
boxing?
the weakest stoppage ever. Tony Weeks.
Look, he literally pushed him onto the ropes, a judo tactic, because that's what his background is, right? He's a judo dude. He's not a boxer. And then he threw a punch that didn't land, or maybe two, and the referee stopped it. And the most shocking part was the only man to land clean power punches in the final round was Barros. You're talking about a 40-year-old, at least 40, and I'm being very kind to him when I say he's 40, because he's at least pushing 45.
Somebody on Twitter said that's Ortiz, daddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, he's brought in the
Luis
late
Ortiz.
notice. Yeah, bro. Look, he's talking about a 10-day notice, right? He's from Venezuela, I believe. So, God knows what kind of documents. Do you really trust their archives? You know what I'm saying? So, look, dude in his 40s, very late, notice. He probably didn't even have a training camp. He comes in and beats the brakes off a roll. He drops him, wins nearly every round. He gets shoved to the ropes. A few punches don't land, and Tony Week calls it off. And this was after the real fighter, quote unquote, failed a drug test. I think this was a complete setup, to be honest. And I rarely talk about corruption in boxing, but if this wasn't a fix, then I don't know what the fuck a fix is. You know?
Y'all got to see Teddy Atlas' reaction. Shit, hilarious.
Yeah, which is disgraceful, you know. Uh, Look, I think him and Ryan are going to fight probably for the 140 title. Because I don't think I mean, come on, like would anyone put him in the ring with Matthias or Prograis? I mean, that's not even
Nah,
a fight
Jimmy,
I'd like.
you gotta understand the play, bro. They gonna hold that belt safe for Tank when Tank ready to get it. Ryan ain't getting that belt.
I think he will, because I think Ryan will go to the PBC now. He's a free agent, isn't he? So
Free agent, is he?
yeah, this was his final fight with Golden Boy. So yeah,
Oh, no wonder they threw him to Tank. Okay, now I understand. All right.
yeah. So and remember, Ryan was in the crowd. So Rolly called Ryan out. Ryan was in the crowd. They went back and forth on Twitter.
I think he has
And
like
then,
2 more fights.
does he? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's done with Golden Boy yet. That's why
Damn.
Oscar was trying to get another fight in. He was trying to get at least 1 more fight in, I think, if not 2.
I mean, that's smart. This kid's fought twice in 2.5 years. I mean, I can't. I think he really should have been more active. You know, I think he should have listened to Oscar. But it's like I said, no one could put the boot down on him. When B Hop or Oscar tell him and his lawyer just want to control everything. When Reynoso puts his boot down and tries to be more strict, Ryan walks out of the gym and doesn't come back again. So I mean, if you've got all the answers, then why do you need someone else on stage for you? Because they don't want to go to that shit show to hear what Leonard Ellerby laughing, chuckling like a
Yeah,
wannabe
you got to
transfer.
take that.
Yeah.
Exactly. You got to take all of that. That's your job. Don't be mad. You couldn't stop. Like, yeah, the guy's headstrong. You couldn't save him from that ass whooping. He was in a big rush to get that bag for, getting I guess exposed in people's mind.
Hopefully he got paid good for that shit. Damn.
No, he got paid probably over $10 million, maybe 15 million, depending on how all the from what everyone's reporting. It was a 50-50
I'm just talking about
split.
Oscar. I'm saying Oscar did well, very
Oh,
well.
yeah, he got
Oh
paid as
shit,
well.
Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar
I think
made out like
Oscar
a
should let
bandit
him
of
go.
that shit.
Oscar should let him go. I think Ryan's more headache than he's worth. You know, Oscar set him up
Oscar
with
got his
something.
money and left. Like, damn, fuck this nigga, I'm
Yeah,
out.
Oscar's fucking. I'm going to the club. Let me get that coke dealer early. Oscar left early to grab the coke dealer.
That's the worst promoter, and him and Floyd is a very very close, but he definitely in the running for worst promoter ever.
Right now, yeah, I think several years ago, Golden Boy were putting on some really big shows and they had a deep stable. But right now, they're lucky they had Canelo to leverage a deal with his own. Or else right now they'd be homeless, you know? Yeah,
Floyd and Oscar need to go ahead and do that rematch. Stop bullshit.
One
yeah,
is
fuck
addicted to
you.
pushy and jewelry, and the other one is addicted to recreational drugs and elective surgery.
And golden
Yeah,
spoons.
yeah. Oh, okay, let me ask you the guys this, and I know you guys are gonna laugh, right? I'm trying to hold my laughter. If Oscar and Floyd did rematch on pay-per-view, would that actually sell, in your opinion?
Yeah, it'll sell.
Oh god damn! I'm not
An
watching it.
exhibition?
Y'all know it'll
Not as an
sell, bro.
exhibition. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not watching that shit, man. I barely could. I could barely pay attention to Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson. I watched maybe like 4 minutes of that entire fight. It was just sad.
Yeah, you watch more
I'm
than
not
yeah.
trying to see that
Shit.
shit. I don't know, man.
You
I've
know
just
what?
never been excited about watching bums fight. Like cans, like dude, like Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather are a bunch of cans, right? They were like 2 cans.
Floyd still think he the best thing
Man,
breathing right
Floyd is
now.
a complete can. Get the hell out of here.
I can't call them cans because they were legends and they are Hall of Famers. So
Like I said
No, but they're
before,
cans right now. So is Lennox Lewis, one of the best heavyweights to ever do it. These are a complete can right now. I think Joe
damn.
yeah,
Joyce would knock him smooth the fuck out. Like, I don't know who wouldn't knock him out.
No,
I
I think
think
I
the
got
internet.
Lennox beating Joyce, man.
Ah, you know
Shit.
what?
Joyce is trash, but go ahead.
I think outside of his last fight, he was on a good run when he knocked out Parker and Dubois, um,
Yeah,
Taki
I'm just
Muhammad.
flaming him because he got beat up by E Honda.
You know what? Zanny, that's a good fight. I mean,
Different kind of Asian.
this is a guy that basically beat Hergovich and Joyce back to back, Olympic silver medal. Um, he's clearly a big puncher, a southpaw. I mean, I'd favor his chance outside of Fury and And Usyk, I mean, I don't really pick anyone to really who's really favored over him at this stage. I wouldn't really favor AJ or Wilder over him, not by
Over
much.
who? Over who?
Zhang.
Oh, the big dude.
Nah, Zhang's going to
Yeah.
sleep.
I
He
think with the
going night
southpaw
night with
jab,
Wilder.
I don't know, man. If he
Yeah,
lands on
Joyce
Wilder,
ain't that good. I don't. Yeah, Lennox Lewis, man. Yeah, all these boys. I don't think can deal with it. I favor Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz over Floyd. Um, yeah. Yeah, I saw that Japanese dude. He fought that last dude, not the yeah, and how that dude was a complete can. It was how Floyd was contorting himself to get out of the way of punches and shit. I'm like, nah, come on, man.
you know what? Even the Floyd did stop Conor
Hey, so hold
McGregor.
up, Jimmy. So you said Zidane Zane beats AJ and Wilder, right?
No, I didn't say he'd beat him, but I wouldn't favor them. I wouldn't favor them. I mean, the way he looked against Hergovich and Joyce back to back, and then when you add in the things like, because
Who?
I had no idea his pedigree was this deep as an amateur, silver medal in the Olympics, two-time world champion
You're talking
winner.
about Zilly Zane, bro.
Hey,
That dude is
Zilly Zhang.
trash.
Who's Wilder though? I mean, what the fuck has Wilder done outside of getting knocked out over and over again in the last
Oh
5 years?
shit.
Hold on. Let's say this, look, man. I've had my critiques about Wilder and his resume, but he got knocked out by the best guy in the division.
So
Like,
AJ looks gun shy. Right? One guy's mentally maybe gone in AJ, and the other guy in Wilder was never shit to begin with.
okay,
So why would they want to do Zhang?
Zane.
Damn.
Okay, hold on, Jimmy. Zane is about to get his ass whooped in the rematch because Joyce is already activated. First and foremost, the fight should have never been stopped. The dude didn't even have a fucking injury. They allowed
Right.
Triple D to go with a broken orbital bone for 10 rounds before he got on his knee, cried, and quit. They allowed that to
Yeah.
go on. They allowed Billy Joe Saunders to go on with a whole broken fucking face against Canelo until he quit. But then with Joe Joyce, who's still in the fight, still fighting, they call it off. It don't make no fucking sense. And he can still see out his eye. The thing about it is Zane was
Wait. What? So it was a bad stoppage?
it was a horrible stoppage.
Oh shit.
But to be fair, though, I kind of do agree with Tony.
It is not the doctor's job to stop a fight. It is the referee's. The doctor's job is there to make sure that the fighter can medically
This
continue.
man, Tony,
Hold
want this man to be
on,
blind.
Black. Listen to me. It is the doctor's job to make sure the fighter can medically continue. He's medically fit to fight. He went to Joe Joyce, held up his fingers, asked him, how many fingers am I holding up? And Joe answered correctly, which means he could still see out of his eye. You cannot stop the fight.
I mean, that is true, Tony. He did
But
answer
hold up,
correctly. And
Tony.
told him, do you want to
He
continue?
was
And he said,
losing the
yes.
fight, and his eye was getting worse, bro. His whole face was getting worse. You gonna get mad at the doctor for stopping the fight? He was getting destroyed.
Okay. And Zane was running out of energy. His work rate went damn near to nothing.
Yeah. He did lose some of the middle rounds, to be fair. Joe did outwork him. He started outworking him. He started getting a lot more competitive. I think the problem is with Joe, this is what really frustrates me, right? Why would you come in the lightest of your professional career? I thought, okay, you're going to move. Cool. Dude, if you're going to stand in the pocket and bang it out with him, you should have came in big and heavy. Like, it's just crazy.
He will, Jimmy. He will in the rematch. He won't come in little again. He'll be 270 plus against Zane. That was dumb. When you're a turtle, you don't take your fucking shell off. If anything, you make your shell thicker.
I think you listen to a lot of the criticism, though. A lot of people, to be fair, a lot of people do say that Joe's too heavy. I've been saying it for years, so maybe just
he's
took
too
a lot
heavy.
of that.
Jimmy, hold on. He's too heavy, and the first time he lost weight, what happened?
He was the lightest of his career.
Yeah, but what was the end result of the fight?
He got stopped. He lost the fight.
Right. He's not too heavy. He's never been too heavy. The dude's never been tired. He's got a gas tank that doesn't deplete. But I disagree with the stoppage. I disagree with the stoppage because Zhang was damn near out of gas. He was depleted. Like, the dude's a 6-round fighter. He's trash. If you make it past the 6th round, he's got nothing left. That's the whole reason why Hergovich came back, because it went after the 6th round. And while people argue that Hergovich should have lost, Zhang threw hardly any punches from the 7th round on.
No, but Tony, 200 and this guy was almost 280 pounds, bro. That is
Well,
insane, though. That is insanely heavy, though. Don't you think, though, Tony? That is so much muscle. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like I don't know, man. It's like, yeah, it is
I
a
mean,
lot.
he's a heavyweight. Like they're heavyweights. Like weigh what you weigh. Gerald Miller's over 300 pounds.
That's true.
But
That's true.
my thing is again, I just disagree with it because at the end of the day, we know his eye was not nothing was wrong with his eye outside of swelling. That's it. He had no injury, no doctor visit, no nothing. Throw a stake on it, he was good to go. So being that he could still see out of the eye, I don't believe it should have been stopped.
Yeah, that's what he said after the fight. He said, "Look, man, I told the doctor I'm good," and then they did the finger test. But they just, I mean, I guess the doctor was just adamant about stopping it. So there's nothing really.
Yeah, the doctor should be fired.
He thought like Joe was he did it to protect. But you're right,
Just
man. I mean, if Zhang ran out of steam, maybe Joe could have stopped him late in the 11th or 12th. You never know, right? So I don't.
no, you never know, and especially with an undefeated fighter, you don't take his own away from him. Outside of that, Bandu Jack, he was allowed to continue with a fucking axe cleaved into his head. Like this whole dude's head was separated. Like
Yeah,
it looked like Moses parting the seas on his forehead, and he
yeah,
was
that was
allowed to
disgusting.
continue.
Yeah. Do you know the problem is? Not only was it under his undefeated record, it was also his WBO interim world title. That actually gave him leverage to go straight into the unified, the winner of Fury Usyk, right? So he lost quite a lot that night. It just
Yeah, he
wasn't his
lost
record.
mandatory. He's no longer mandatory.
Yeah, it's no longer mandatory for Usyk or the winner of Fury Usyk, and obviously lost his undefeated record as well. And it was in his hometown. Like that was a bit of a raw deal.
This is what I'm saying. Like I don't agree with the stoppage. Like I do not agree with it. I just if a fighter can still see, it's just like a cut. The fight is only supposed to be stopped off of a cut if the blood is impeding your vision, if you cannot see. It does not matter how much you bleed. It's only if you cannot see. That is the rules. If you cannot see, it's not the doctor's job to stop the fight.
Did you think his eye was worse than Daniel Dubois though?
No, not at all.
Uh, what happened then? Because that's kind of strange though. It happened in the same city, London, so it was the same commission. Maybe just the doctor was a bit, I don't know, man. Maybe trigger happy. I think the doctor said he wanted to, I guess, save Joe Joyce's career, but at 37 years old, bro, especially when you're the interim champion, you should really let a fighter go out on his shield because if he were to come back, Joe's got a great gas tank and Zhang is known for having a shaky one. So,
I don't
yeah,
think they like Joe Joyce, to be honest with you. Like when Joe Joyce beat Triple D, Frank Warren looked like he was about to cry. And Joe Joyce is his fighter.
yeah. Do you know what is, bro? I think Triple D, Joe Joyce is almost like the bastard. Like, obviously now he's lost momentum, but Joe Joyce is also kind of, in a way, like the bastard heavyweight of the British scene. Like, I think Dubois was kind of groomed to be the next great British heavyweight. He obviously completely fell apart in the fight. You had guys like Fury, Dillian White, Anthony Joshua. They were kind of like the stars of the division, and Joe Joyce was kind of like I don't know, man. He just really didn't fit in anywhere. So I think this is why probably some of the establishment doesn't like him. Because Dubois was supposed to be the next big guy, but Joe Joyce ruined the plans.
But it's
And there's
like
not many good.
when I look at it, if I look at UK eye injuries, okay, I look at Billy Joe Saunders, they let it continue. I look at Triple D, they let it continue. I look
Yeah,
at Kell Brook, they let it continue. Both times. It was the corner throwing in the towel in the first fight against Triple G, and then it was Kell Brook taking a knee and not getting up against Earl Spence in the second fight. They didn't stop it. If I look at Inoue, he was continuing with what, a broke jaw against
bro.
Donaire?
Yeah, eye socket. Yeah,
Okay,
his eye socket.
excuse me,
Yeah,
eye socket. He broke his eye socket, was allowed to continue to the very end. So
yeah.
when consistency isn't consistent, you have to ask the question, well, what's the difference here?
I'm not sure though. So I think it was Joe Joyce's. He was the hometown. the hometown kid. It was in London. He was the champion. He had the interim belt or whatever, and he was undefeated as well. So you know what it was? I think maybe sometimes in the UK, British refs they do get a little trigger happy when it comes to safety. In this country, we are known for that a little bit. Smoke will attest to it. Early stoppages. So that is a bad thing in the UK. Ever since I think Nigel Benn and the G-Man situation, the British board really they stepped up their safety rules a lot. So there is a problem in the UK with quick stoppages, to be honest, and I think this is one of them. But to be fair, a lot of fans really didn't complain about the stoppage. They thought his eye looked so damaged that it was best that it got stopped.
I just, I just, knowing the rules of boxing, I don't agree with it because by the definition of the rules, if he can see out of the eye, he's allowed to continue. That's just the rules. Like if you can see out your eye, then you can continue. So how you deviate from the rules, I have no idea.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's up to the referee. Because the referee kept, not the referee, sorry, the doctor kept calling halts to the action. But I think the doctor doesn't he have the power to wave it off though? I think the doctor, he's got the power to wave it off, or is it the
only if you're medically unable to continue? That's the only power he has. You have to be medically unable to continue. In other words, if I throw a punch and my arm goes out of the socket, my shoulder is sitting out of the socket, I have a dislocated shoulder, and I can't throw my right hand anymore, and all I have is my left hand. And because of it, I'm getting beat up. The doctor has the power to stop the fight. If I have blood gushing into my eye, say right eye, and I keep getting hit in my right eye because I can't see punches, and then he does his fingers and he holds up 2 and I say 4, he has the right to stop the fight. If I break my ankle and I can't walk, he has the right to look at my ankle and say he's medically unfit to continue. However, if I can still fight, if I can still see, if I can still move, he can't stop the fight.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think also the problem is, did you notice the referee, the doctor actually looked really angry when Joe was getting the questions right. He's like, how many fingers am I holding up? He's like, 2. He's like, how many now? 3. And he's like, and they looked at the ref and said that he just doesn't feel comfortable. And the ref just listened to him straight away. He waved off. As soon as the doctor told the referee to wave it off. Because this was like the second or third time he asked Joe. I just feel like the doctor just wanted to wave it off, to be honest. He just really wanted the fight to get stopped, I think.
Which, again, I look at work rate and I see how much Zane slowed down. Like in the round that it got stopped, he threw 0 punches outside of the flurry. Before they came into a clinch after the flurry, then the doctor stopped the action again. But before that flurry, there was no shots thrown by him. The round prior to, he might have thrown 3 or 4 punches the whole round. So his work rate was dropping off significantly. I don't think he would have made it 12 rounds.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That might be true. No, but Tony, I actually didn't get your take on the talking about bad stoppages. The stoppage that was even worse than this one, the Rolly Romero stoppage. What do you think of that?
I didn't watch the fight. I just heard about it and saw highlights, but I didn't watch the actual fight. I heard Rolly was getting his ass whooped.
He was getting whooped. Yeah, the fight was basically stopped off of a push and a punch that didn't land. So he pushed the guy into the ropes. So the guy did kind of fall back onto the ropes, and Rolly threw a big punch that never landed, and then Tony Weeks just called the fight off.
Yeah, I also heard that in that fight too that Rolly got dropped by a punch, and then Weeks said it was a slip.
Yeah. He got hit with I think it was like a big hook, and he got put in his ass straight away, and he was clearly hurt though, because the rest of the fight, Rolly was on his back foot, basically losing the fight. It was Rolly that actually pushed. This is so fucked up, bro. It was actually Rolly that pushed the old dude down, and the referee called him a knockdown. He literally grabbed him by the neck, right? Threw him onto the floor, power slammed him like a judo move. And he does have a background in judo, to be fair. And the ref called it a knock. This was so, like, can I be honest? This was actually the worst corrupt fight I've ever seen in my life. You're talking about knockdowns off of pushes, stoppages off of punches that aren't landed. Like, this was crazy. And this poor old bloke, right, clearly in his 40s, and I'm being very generous when I say he's in his 40s.
Nah, that man
He
was
looks
in
way
his 60s. He was in his
yeah.
70s. Let's
He was
not lie
given
about it. That birth
yeah,
certificate is fake.
yeah, bro. And this guy was given maybe a 10-day notice, and he went in there and beat the brakes off of Rowley. Almost had his Rocky moment, becoming a champion, and they just robbed him,
You
bro.
gotta
And I think
understand,
this was the
Jimmy.
same setup.
You
Yeah.
gotta understand. Do you know how bad it would have looked if a 40, we'll say 40 because that's what he claims to be. If a 40-year-old would have beat Rolly, how bad that would have looked on Tank.
It would look terrible, man. It would look complete garbage. I
And
think
that's
Rowley's
why the fix was in. Because
yeah.
if this dude would have beat him, Tank got outboxed that whole fucking fight until he hit the knockout. He was getting outboxed. And the fact is that if Rolly gets beat by a 40-year-old, that just makes Tank look bad.
I have to be honest, bro. The Martinez fight as well. That was a massive robbery. I think fans voted that the robbery of the year.
Yeah.
Rowley won. Clearly got outboxed. At this fight, he was getting outboxed. He was getting bullied. He was getting outfought. This was a terrible performance. I think the thing with PBC is they spent millions on this event, right? Showtime, PBC. They want Rowley to get the belt so they could cash Rowley in either with Ryan or a Tank rematch. But this old dude, you know,
I just see it as a way to boost up Tank. Like now Rolly's a champion, doing my air quotes, and that makes Tank look like his win aged well. Like he beat him and then he goes on to become a champion. So now Tank is just so much better because he beat a guy who after that becomes a champion. Like even though he got his ass whooped. Like it's all smoke and mirrors. That's what I hate. I hate that smoke and mirrors part about boxing.
no, but my confusion is how's a guy that just got knocked out at 135, who hasn't really done much at 35, how does he move up to 140 and in his first fight get a shot at a vacant major world title? I don't think I've ever seen that before, bro. Like, well, what the hell is going on? And then his fighter, quote unquote, fails a drug test. So the good fighter or the mid level contender he was supposed to fight, quote unquote, fails a drug test. So they have to bring him basically a nobody last minute for a 2-round blowout. That's what I thought. I thought 1 round demolition. He gets the shit kicked out of him for most of the fight. And then obviously the ref, Tony Weeks got out. He didn't even do any interviews. Tony Weeks left the arena straight away after the fight. He didn't even speak to the media. Yep.
I'm surprised that fight hasn't gone under investigation.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. But the problem is the guy that fought Tank. He's kind of like he's not. I mean, I'm not sure if he's got the money to do that. To be honest, he's talking about a guy in his 40s from Venezuela who only boxes part time. So,
Right.
Yeah, I think they're trying to set it up for either a Ryan fight. But to be fair though, I think Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero actually would sell. I think because of the trash talk, because both guys do have a lot of momentum and controversy. Uh, I think that would sell on pay-per-view. I wouldn't buy it, but I mean, they'd sell it as a world title fight between two top dudes. So I think that probably would sell. Well, what do you think about Eddie Hearn? And I never got your take on this, saying Canelo wants to fight 2 more times this year, September and December. What do you think about that? Who do you think Canelo will fight?
Well, it all depends on what Canelo's planning on doing in September. Is he going to fight at 175 or 168 against Bevel? Like that's the $1 million question.
175. That's what he's saying.
Well, I heard that Bevel wants to go to 168.
Yeah, that's the problem, and Bivol wants it for Canelo's belts, and Canelo, according to him, he wants to run it back with the exact same terms because when he beats Bivol, he doesn't want any excuses. Because if Bivol comes to 168 and he beats him, a lot of fans are going to say he was like weight drained, So he doesn't want that excuse there, which I think is pretty foolish because I don't think Canelo stands much of a chance against Bivol, man. To be honest, at this stage, yeah.
He can't beat Bevel at any stage. He never beat Bevel. Like Bevel just he just boxes too good. Like Canelo's too flat-footed for a fighter like Bevel. It's the same reason why I said Andrade would always beat Canelo. He's just he's not good against that type of style. And if you can box and move and don't plant your feet, he's pretty much useless.
Yeah, but I think with Andre, he was more of like Canelo's natural size. With Bivol, he's kind of like a light heavyweight. I think Canelo's like a pumped up middleweight. So I think with a guy like Andre, even though it would have been very difficult stylistically, he would have been able to physically impose himself and do more damage. A guy like Bivol, I mean, this guy's a strong light heavyweight who's used to fighting light heavyweights. So damn, if he beats Canelo again, then I mean, fuck, man, Bivol, man. I mean, damn, man, he's really gonna get a big boss, man. He's gonna be,
See, I disagree. I see Andrade as the same as Bivol. They're the same height, and Andrade probably has longer arms. I'd have to look up the reach, but I guarantee you Andrade's got a longer reach. So you got a guy who's 6'1", who's going to significantly outreach Canelo and not stand in front of him and can move all 12 rounds. That's why he lost to Bivol. That's why he'll lose to Andrade at any weight class. I don't care if it's 154, 160, 168, or if somehow they could fight at 175. He'll lose to Andrade no matter where he fights him because he's just stylistically not good. Look at it like this. Billy Joe Saunders was making a very good account of himself, and he's not that great. Caleb Plant was doing very well against him, and he's not that good. The same thing. Guys who move, who can box, will always cause him issues, and those two guys aren't that good. Andrade is a very good boxer, a very good mover, much quicker than Plant and Billy Joe Saunders.
Do you think Andrade's got faster feet than Billy Joe?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I do.
No, I think Andre would actually give him a good fight. I do think that, but with Bivol, I feel like Bivol's a solid 175 pounder. So a lot of the shots that were connecting with Bivol on his arms and on his body and stuff, they weren't doing the kind of damage they do to like a middleweight in Andre. I know what you're saying that he's tall, but he's not as naturally heavy or as big physically, or as strong as a Bivol.
I don't know. I think Andrade's bigger than Bivol. By the time they step in the ring, Bivol doesn't look much bigger than 175. He might be 180 pounds max by fight night. Like that dude looks like he fights where he walks. Like he doesn't look like he blows up in weight. So yes, he's used to fighting at 175, but his actual weight might be less than what Andrade is outside of fight competition.
Yeah, that's why I always did want to see the Andre fight. I know a lot of fans were pushing hard for the Charlo fight, but I always thought a guy like Charlo was kind of straight, very robotic, kind of basic, orthodox fighter had come forward. I think Canelo would really.
Charlo is like, that's a dream matchup for Canelo. He's gonna come right to him, right to the counter punches.
Yeah, right to him. So a lot of fans were pushing hard for the Charlo fight. I always did want to see the Andre fight, but I also Canelo fought a lot of really great fighters. Billy Joe, Danny Jacobs, Caleb Plant, similar styles. Will we get the Charlo fight, Andre fight? Sorry. Maybe in the future, man. I think right now Canelo's focusing on Bivol. What do you think about him jumping to cruiserweight to fight Badou Jack for the cruiserweight title?
Who, Canelo?
Yeah, they were talking about that. Yeah.
I mean, it's a fight he could win because Badou Jack will fight you, and then plus, Badou Jack is a very negative fighter the first 6 rounds. Badou Jack would be the greatest 15-round fighter if they still had 15 rounds. Because he doesn't turn on to the 7th round. And normally when Badou Jack starts fighting, why he's got so many losses is because he starts fighting so late in the fights. So I think he's tailor-made to be beat by Canelo. Like, Canelo will be up. Like,
what do you think of the Makabu?
Makabu?
I think that would have been easier for Canelo, don't you think, that fight, compared to Badou Jack?
Yeah, so before Canelo fought Bivol, Makabu fought some short guy that was 5'8", and I thought he lost the fight. Like, he was getting beat.
Yeah, I think that's why Canelo didn't take the fight, because of the negative feedback. See, my thing is this, though. If Canelo wants to win the cruiserweight title, I think a guy like Makabu, big, strong, powerful guy, but he doesn't really have the skills to compete with Canelo. He's very big and powerful, so it would have been tough. A guy like Badou Jack, okay, he's big and strong, but he's also got good boxing skills. He's also fast. He's also got a gas tank,
Yeah,
so I think that's way tougher.
Badou Jack, watch his fights. He doesn't start fighting until the 7th round. Like, he legitimately does not start fighting till the second half of fights. So it's very hard to beat Canelo on the scorecards unless you do what Bivol did and make it obvious that they can't cheat you. And I just think it would be. I think it would come down to a draw. I think Canelo would win the first 6 rounds. Bandu Jack would probably win 7 through 12, and Canelo would be able to sneak a round or two in the back half by the judges' scorecard and win the fight.
But who do you think is physically stronger out of Canelo and Badou Jack?
It's impossible to know. I have no idea.
Do you think Badou Jack is stronger though? Because I mean, this is a guy that's a 3-division champion. He went from super middle to light heavy to cruiserweight. And I feel like Canelo, I mean, this guy started off at, was it, junior middle? Obviously started off lighter at welter and stuff. But what do you think about David Benavidez, his promoter, saying even if the zone offered them $100 million, they would never leave PBC or Showtime to fight Canelo on the zone?
Yeah, that would be a duck. If that offer actually came out there, then I don't care what people say about Canelo. And I've even criticized Canelo about fighting on Benavidez. But if they offered him $100 million and he didn't take the fight, he ducked him. He never wanted it. That's how I feel.
Okay. No, because Joe, it was on a channel. You might have heard of him. You know who Joe Habib is? Ringside Report.
No.
Yeah, it was just an interview. They were asking him, well, if Canelo makes you a massive offer, I think he might have said like 10 million. And he said that it's not about the money because they're loyal to PBC and Al Heyman. So he doesn't care about the money, even if it was like 100 million, which I don't think they'll offer him 100 million for that fight because I don't think there's 100 million in the pot for that fight. But he was saying even if the offer is 100 million, the zone, there's no point of Eddie Hearn trying to make it on the zone because we'll never go. So you think, I mean, so if Canelo did send David Benavidez a contract, let's fight, here's your highest payday, I don't know, $7 million, $10 million, whatever, and they just flat out reject it. So would you say David ducked them?
Yeah, I would be like a Catholic priest and absolve him of all his sins, Canelo, and say, yo, you never ducked this dude. This dude never wanted to fight you. Like, because I don't care about you being loyal to PBC. You're fighting Canelo. You're fighting for Undisputed. You're fighting for the one guy that you said has been ducking you this whole time, and you don't take the fight and it's your biggest payday? Nah, you never wanted the fight to begin with. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair to say Canelo is the A side, right?
Definitely, without a doubt.
Okay.
Canelo is the face of boxing. Like, I don't care what him and John Ryder did. He still sold way too many pay-per-views not to be the face of boxing. He's got, even though I criticize him, he's got way too many accolades as well not to be the face of boxing.
Yeah, I think with the Ryder pay-per-view, they haven't. See, isn't it funny, bro? Like, Steven Espinoza is saying they can't release the numbers for Tank Ryan Garcia because they're still counting them, and it's been a month. But how did Canelo's pay-per-view numbers come out in 2 days? So I think there is a lot of people that don't like Canelo that are putting fake numbers out, I think. Because he literally sold 1 million buys with Golovkin. Before that, he did 800,000 with Caleb Plant. How do you go from that to doing what they're saying, 250? I don't know. I mean, that doesn't really sound real to me, right?
Well, yeah, I just Googled it. Yeah, they're saying 200 to 250,000 pay-per-view buys. And they're saying in this article that the Tank and Ryan fight did 1.4 million. However, I heard Jake Paul say that fight only actually did 800,000 buys.
Yeah, bro, that's true. That's true. I heard Jake Paul say that as well. He was saying that because obviously he's a business partner with the Zone, and he's been a partner with Showtime. So the guy's an insider, and he came out publicly and he said my fight with Tommy Fury did 830,000. That's bigger than Ryan and Tank did 800K. And the Zone were right there. They didn't correct him. No one said anything. So if he was lying, the Zone.
Nobody's corrected him, man. There's been no like defamation either. So, I mean, he must know something.
Yeah, they asked Oscar what your thoughts of Jake Paul saying that. Oscar just started laughing and saying, "Oh, you know, it's all good. Jake's just joking. Oh, trust me, he did more." I'm like, "Come on, that's not. What does that mean?" Like, Oscar just laughed it off. Like, "Yeah, bro, I think it's real, bro. I think they probably did do 800K, which is the same number Canelo did with Caleb Plant, and which is less than what Canelo did with Triple G." Do you remember when they were saying that Canelo only did was it 500,000? Straight away, the Zone did a public press release and say no, it did over 1 million buys. So no, even if this pay-per-view did flop, like I think everyone's allowed one bad night in the office, right? But this would be his lowest number in history, though. I don't think he's ever done 250. This would be way low. Yeah.
But you got to understand, this is another channel that I was over there, and I tried to explain this, and Ty proved me to be right. and her to be wrong. Same thing I try to explain about AJ. This dude just struggled to sell 20,000 tickets. I don't even know if he sold out because it wasn't sold out all the way up to the day of the fight. So I don't even know if he really sold out.
Fight night. They announced that fight night it was a full sellout.
Yeah, I bet they probably gave away the remainder tickets. Anyways, I don't know if it really, truthfully sold out. That's the dude who went from selling 80,000 plus seats to couldn't even sell 20,000. Why? Because of losses. That's the nature of boxing. When you lose, Canelo just lost to Bivol, although he did fight Triple G. But the point is, when you lose in boxing, unfortunately, people jump ship very quickly.
Yeah, but to be fair though, I think the tickets were just way too expensive, bro. Like, I know a lot of people that want to go, and they were literally charging nearly, was it $3,500, like $4,000 for ringside tickets? Like, that was crazy, bro. Like you can't be charging the same prices that you were for fights with Klitschko and. Yeah.
Look, I made a video about it. When I looked it up, there was tickets that were only like $50, $100 that were higher up that weren't sold out, and there was several of them.
Okay, but I thought the ticket started off at 180 though, because I remember the Boxing Voice when they went on the official website to buy tickets, they were saying that I think the cheap seats were 180. But you're right, they might have slashed the prices. They might have slashed the prices. Yeah.
I don't know. They may have, because whenever I made my video, it was like way after the fight had been announced, because I waited just to see what would happen. So I don't know if they sliced or slashed it or not, but what I do know is it was like $50, $100 tickets, at least on my screen through the website I went through.
Yeah, because when I checked, I think the cheapest ticket, let me see, £130 would be
probably
maybe
160.
Yeah, 160, $170. And then the ringside was £2,500, which is maybe $3,300.
But
so
Jimmy,
I don't know.
If AJ would have never, but listen to me, if AJ would have never lost to Usyk, that shit would have sold out instantly.
Yeah, but do you not feel like for a comeback fight they should have been more humble with the prices though? I mean, those are like Las Vegas prices, bro. Those are stadium prices. Like, ain't no one trying to pay a $3,500 ticket for a dude that just lost 2 fights in a row, in a non-title fight.
Listen to what you just said. Ain't nobody trying to pay for a dude who just had 2 losses in a non-title fight. Again, you just proved my point. That's the nature of boxing. That's the nature of the beast. You could be a cash cow one day, lose. Your next fight, sell nothing.
Yeah. But I think with Canelo's numbers, I was impressed though that they said they fully sold out the stadium in one day. That as soon as they launched the tickets, that was 51,000 full sellout. They had something like over, I think, 15 million people watching on Mexico TV. And that's not even including the people that watched around the world on the zone or the people that bought it in the States. So I think overall, I think he did have a big global audience and he had a massive crowd. I don't think it was Canelo's best event because of various reasons. Look, if he fights David Benavidez on pay-per-view, I think that pay-per-view would probably do over 1 million buys easily, I think, in my opinion, especially on a Mexico holiday, 1 million, 1.2, 1.3, whatever. What about the Bivol rematch? In your opinion, what's a bigger fight, Bivol 2 or Benavidez, numbers-wise?
Probably Benavidez.
Do you not feel like they could try and milk the story of, revenge and Canelo's trying to become a champion again and legacy, and maybe the Canelo fan base will come out strong this time?
The problem is it's a hard sell because Canelo was completely outclassed. Like, it wasn't competitive. It was not close. He was outclassed. He got outlanded, like legit outlanded in every single round. From round 1 to round 12, he got outlanded. It was just a one-sided fight. So when something's so one-sided, it's very hard to sell it, to make it seem like it's going to be anything but what we already saw. Whereas with Benavidez, you have the story of Benavidez, oh, he ducked me for all these years. He didn't want to fight me. I'm the real WBC champion because I had the belt twice. He didn't really win the belt. You know what I mean? There's more of a story and there's more the if factor. Who would win this? We don't know. There's a question mark. Has Canelo been scared of him? Can Canelo beat him? Is Benavidez the next guy of the division? You see what I'm saying? With Bivol, it's just pretty much we're probably going to see what we saw before.
Yeah. Do you think it helps though that the injury excuse that Canelo was saying that he went to the fight injured and he couldn't have a good training camp because of the injury? And this time he's cleared up his injury. He got a good tune-up, and now he's back better than ever.
Did he knock out
Triple G? No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Did he knock out John Ryder?
No, he didn't. He didn't. But I just meant from the Bivol perspective. See, that fight, though, even though it was a clear win, on the cards it was close, and he could claim injury. So I'm just trying to think maybe they could spin it a little bit, but no, man, the Benavidez.
My point is this: he's gone on to fight twice after that, and he hasn't stopped either fighter. So I don't think the injury excuse is going to do him much good.
See, with the Triple G fight, I think Triple G really, he's a great fighter, but I think in the third fight, he kind of just came there to survive. To be honest, he didn't really engage. And Canelo just kind of outboxed him for 12 rounds. I think both guys know each other. This is a guy in Triple G who's got an iron chin, a great defense, and he, kind of uses experience to kind of survive. Both guys know each other really well. They'd fought 24 rounds. So I think with the Ryder fight, bro, I have to be honest, man. I think Canelo, I thought he looked good, bro. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying Canelo looks washed up because of the Ryder fight, but me personally, I thought he beat Ryder to a bloody pulp. He dropped him 2 times, and he won a near shutout. I mean, he didn't stop him, but he came very close in the 9th round. He almost stopped him in the 9th. And I think I just give credit to John Ryder, bro. I always said that John Ryder is a very difficult dude, man. Physically strong, a southpaw, coming on really good fights recently. This is a guy that's never been knocked down. He's only been stopped once in his career, and that was very early on at middleweight, a division he really shouldn't have fought in because I felt like he was really weight drained in that division. He was winning the fight, he just gassed out and got stopped. At 68, he's never been hurt. Danny Jacobs, Callum Smith, Zach Parker, big, powerful dudes hitting with sledgehammers. They did nothing. Canelo's the only man to really bloody him, hurt him, and drop him, I think maybe Ryder's a little bit underrated.
But the thing is Ryder was in his face the whole night. Ryder was coming forward the whole night. Ryder was fighting with him the whole night. Ryder never went into survival mode. Ryder never tried to stay away. Ryder didn't hold on in the clinch every time Canelo got close to him. And
Ryder was smart. He was smothering. He would smother Canelo on the inside. He was doing nice little. I think he's a little bit underrated because most people don't really know John Ryder. But I was telling people, I was like, bro, this is not a Yildirim, bro. Trust me, this guy's a lot tougher. He's a lot better. I think the fans were.
You gotta look at like 50-50 fights sell. 50-50 fights. But when you already think a guy's going to lose before they even get into the fight, they don't sell as much. And that's the Bivol. Like, I don't think anybody truly believes Canelo can beat Bivol. Maybe his diehard fans, but that's about it.
Did anyone really believe Joshua could beat Usyk in the rematch? And that still did massive numbers. I mean, Usyk kind of... I actually say he did better in the rematch, to be honest.
Competitive. Both fights were competitive. Even though AJ got outclassed, well, he didn't get outclassed. He just got outboxed. But it was competitive. Bivol versus Canelo was not even competitive.
You think Joshua did better against Usyk in the first fight than Canelo did?
He did much better.
Really? Okay, I'm surprised, bro. I thought both guys were kind of... I know Joshua did way better in the rematch. More pressure. He won more rounds and he hurt Usyk. Look, my thing is this, though, bro. All Canelo has to do, because in the first fight, if he won the final round, that fight would have been scored a draw. So all he needs to do, really, is edge out 2 more rounds, and I think he'll get the win. And I'm predicting it on your channel, Tony. Canelo Alvarez is actually going to beat Dimitri Bivol in September, bro. I think a lot of fans might feel it's controversial, but I think he's not actually beat people. Yeah.
Look, we know Canelo scorecards are bullshit. We know Canelo scorecards don't reflect reality. We know that. There's never been a Canelo fight where the scorecards made sense. They just don't. I don't go by the scorecard in a Canelo fight. I go by my eyes. Because according to the scorecards, he had a draw with Mayweather, according to one of the scorecards. So I don't give a fuck what the judges had to fight, how they had it against Bivol. What I'm telling you, and the empirical data backs it up. He got outboxed every single round. The empirical data shows that Bivol outlanded him in every single round. He didn't outland in one round. Canelo, he lost every single round by punches. And if you can't at least outland a guy in one round, it's not competitive. It's just not.
Okay, but Tony, even you would have to admit, bro, Canelo Alvarez was completely gassed after the fourth round. Like I know Canelo's never had the best gas tank, but when has he ever blown out in a fight after like 3 rounds? There was something clearly wrong with him physically, whether it was the injury, whether he couldn't train properly.
Not at all. Not at all. Canelo has been looking gassed ever since he was no longer able to eat his steaks. He hasn't had the same gas tank since he got caught eating his steaks. That's all it is.
Maybe, but I think most fighters are probably eating some kind of steak or special shake. So I'm trying to think. He looked pretty good in the Golovkin rematch. Danny Jacobs. I mean, look at Callum Smith, bro. He literally, and I'm actually picking Callum Smith for the upset. I think he might upset Beterbiev. I think that old man is done. I think Bivol should have never walked away from negotiations, bro, because I think Beterbiev is ready. I mean, he's done, bro. Someone put a fork in him. The surgeries, the injuries, the age. Yeah, that was fucked. I'm glad you called him out, bro, because I gotta keep it real, bro. Not a lot of channels called Bivol out on that bullshit because Beterbiev was ready to fight you. You're the one that walked away and said you wanted more money. So, you know?
Well, I've been saying it for like, oh gosh, probably 4 or 5 years now that Bivol's scared of Beterbiev. I've been saying it for like 4 or 5 years. So I don't believe he's ever wanted to fight. I don't believe he'll ever take the fight unless he looks like he's on his last leg. That's the only way. He's got to be aged out completely. And him beating Yard, he still saw enough life in the dog that he didn't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
But you got to think about this, Jimmy. You got to think about this. Canelo's going to fight him no matter what. Win, lose, or draw, if Bivol loses to Beterbiev, Canelo still wants to fight him. That fight's going nowhere. It's solidified. It's going to happen. The thing is, Bivol is doing absolutely nothing all the way to September. So why not fight in the summer, stay active against Beterbiev, become undisputed in your own weight class, and then fight Canelo?
I think it was they probably didn't want to risk the Canelo payday. Because I just don't think Canelo versus Bivol 2 could happen if right after, let's say Beterbiev knocks him out badly. Could you really promote a Canelo Bivol fight 3 months later? I mean, is that really viable?
It wouldn't matter if you could promote it or not. Canelo wants to fight him. And at the end of the day, when you're Canelo and you're the A side of all the boxing, you get what you want.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? I have to be honest. I'm disappointed in Bivol because in the Anthony Yard fight, I thought Beterbiev he did actually look a little slower. You know, this is the first time I've seen him look tired. Maybe I'm not sure if it was the knee surgery was coming off, the layoff, the age. He had a very long amateur career, and guys like Beterbiev, punchers, aggressive fighters, they don't age well. So, I mean, look, Bivol's what 32. He's a younger guy, the taller guy, the faster guy, the guy with a better defense. Go fuck him up, man. Like, what's the problem? I don't get it, man.
Well, I don't remember who it was. Somebody on YouTube I was talking to told me that Bivol and Beterbiev used to train together whenever they were in the amateurs, and Beterbiev fucked them up way back when.
Oh, I heard that as well, but someone told me I was a hater, and someone told me this. Someone told me Beterbiev and Bivol have sparred in the past, and from what they heard, Beterbiev actually knocked Bivol out.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. That he was.
But you know what? I mean, I don't know, but Bivol does have a good defense and a good chin, so maybe. But I think Beterbiev might have been older than him, so I don't know, bro. It's just disappointing, bro, because for you, what's a better legacy win? There's some people are telling me that Bivol beating Canelo is a better legacy win than him beating Beterbiev because Canelo was ranked #1 pound for pounder.
I don't know. I think that's casual talk. But Lisa said wrong. Tony Mauricio said earlier he will not sanction the Canelo fight for Bivol. I don't think Canelo gives two shits about Mauricio. Mauricio is going to do what Canelo tells him to do.
Yo, Lisa, jump on, Lisa. Yeah, I can hear. Are you having a protein shake? I hear something click it banging.
Yeah, I'm eating dinner. And then
Okay,
I'm
cool.
gonna
Are you still bulking up, or?
Oh yeah, well, ha 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 ha. So I'm not getting on camera. I'm much bigger than I was the last time you saw me,
Yep.
leaner. However, I might have dislocated my shoulder.
Oh fuck! How did that happen, bro? Shit.
I don't fucking know.
Are you
I
gonna go to a doctor, get a
Well,
scan,
yeah,
or?
I've already got it set up. Tomorrow I'm supposed to be there seeing them. I was benching and I was doing the incline bench and I felt something pop. And then I stopped. I already went to the ER, then I went to my real doctor, and now I'm going to get MRI to see if it's out of socket, how much is out of socket. It's one of three things. One, it's out of socket, which would be best case scenario because that's just they'll pop it right back in.
Hi.
Yeah.
What's going on, AJ? The second thing it could be, which is why I'm getting the MRI, is I could have tore my AC joint, which is the ligaments that hold your collarbone down. Or three, it could be I tore something in my rotator cuff because there's 4 connectors right there in your rotator cuff. So
I heard that. Yeah,
I
the rock
wanna-
did that thing.
so for the last week and a half, I haven't touched the weight, but I am much bigger than I was.
Maybe you could do
But
stuff
shit,
like
Tony,
that.
you all right? That's why you've been out of commission?
No, I'm good. I just think I dislocated my shoulder.
Oh, ouch. Shit.
Hopefully it's only a dislocation, so the chiropractor can
You go to
smash it
doctor?
back in place.
You go to doctor?
Yeah.
They take a look at it?
Yeah, I get an MRI tomorrow.
Okay.
But
That's the thing with bodybuilding, bro.
in this case, the dislocation would be best, or maybe like a
Minor tear.
yeah, like a level 1 tear in my AC joint would be fine because it'll self heal. I just can't do anything for like a month while it self heals. But those would be the best case scenario because the shoulder they just pop it right back in. The only bad thing about dislocating your shoulder is after you do it the first time, it becomes easier to do it again, and then every time after is easier and easier for it to dislocate.
So you pretty much beat Barton Riggs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Got you. On the bright side, if you were like him, you could just pop it back into place, but that's probably not. That's just in the movies.
No, we'll tell you. The doctor in the ER, like they didn't do shit for me in the ER. Thought they was gonna do X-rays, MRIs, all of that. But I guess since COVID, a lot of protocols have changed, at least in my area.
Mhm.
So I went to my real doctor.
Got
and
it.
like I said, I got my MRI set up already. But the ER, the doctor told me, he's like, I believe you dislocated your shoulder, and I'm amazed that you can still use your arm.
Well, I mean, you said you believe. I'm like, so what do you mean you believe? Is it dislocated or not?
Well, the thing is he made me do these different pushing movements against his hands with my hands, and then he was looking at range of motion. Then he felt like from my collarbone all the way out to my shoulder joint, and he could feel it like up. And he said he believed it was out of socket, but we'll see tomorrow.
I remember I sprained my wrist, and I went to minor injury for it. I didn't go to ER, but pretty much should have took 5 minutes. Ended up taking like an hour because it was a simple thing. It's like, oh yeah, it's sprained, and all they did was just put a cast on it, and I just took that shit off when I got home, and I just let it heal on itself because it's like, bro, this is a waste of time. It's like,
yeah, I don't know. It depends on what you tell me. Like if it's a ligament tear, then I'm definitely gonna as long as it's not like a 3 or a 4 grade, as long as it's a 1, I'll take it easy and not do shit and just get fat and sloppy for a couple of weeks and then just get it back in shape.
cardio is an option also. Like
swimming, cycling, a bit of yoga.
I hear blasphemy right now. I hear a bunch of blasphemy. Y'all talking cardio. We talking about being strong. They don't go together.
Hey, jumping jacks, that's still cardio. This
Oh,
requires
man.
range of
Man.
arms.
we train for 30 seconds over here. If I don't beat you in 30 seconds, you got it. I'll tap out. You already won. I'm too tired.
I feel you. Well, the topic of discussion, though, gents. Devin and Loma. What's your predictions?
I favor Devin.
You got Devin. Okay. What about you, Jimmy?
For me, it's kind of like 55-45. I flip-flopped on it several times. Originally, I had Lomachenko. I thought he was the more diverse fighter, more experienced, with a more awkward style. But when I sat down and watched a lot of film, I've noticed that Lomachenko, I feel like he's probably past his prime. He's an older guy, smaller guy, more inactive. And I think I favor Haney just because of all the stuff that everyone's saying: size, youth, momentum, politics. You're a young American undefeated champion against a 35-year-old Ukrainian who's probably on the slide. I feel like the promoters could milk Devin Haney for potentially another decade, But Lomachenko is probably maybe 2 fights away from retirement. I think his jab, his size, his footwork, his defense, Yeah, I think he'll win the fight 7-5.
Interesting. Well, I'm
What
the
about
outlier.
yourself?
I got to ride with the veteran on this one, man. I got Loma.
How do you see him doing it?
How do I see him doing it? Well, I think that the Ortiz fight was a good fight that he needed to shake off the cobwebs and also to really keep him sharp. I think that objective was accomplished, but I think that Devin will get off to a good start early. And the thing is, Loma can't wait to take his time. He needs to get started kind of immediately. So no more than 3 rounds should he wait to process data. Then by the mid-rounds, if he gets started by the mid-round, probably round 4. I kind of see him using his angles. I don't think Devin's jab, but I think he'll have success with his jab. But I just don't think it's going to be enough to stop Loma in his tracks. I think Loma's going to find a way past it, and he's going to really find a way to get on the inside and probably rough up Devin. Devin's going to have to clinch, but I don't think that will probably be enough as well. But the feverish pace that Loma will most likely set will be the deciding factor in the mid-rounds to late, and I just don't see Devin keeping up with it. Not saying he can't win. Not saying he can't win, but I'm just saying that's just how I see it going. I could be wrong, but that's just how I see it going.
How do you think he looked in his last fight though against
Ortiz?
Yeah,
not best, but he still did enough to win. He just the same dynamic. Ortiz was sharp early on, but then the middle late rounds, Loma picked up the pace, took it to him, and won the fight. Wasn't his best performance, but he still did win. I felt, and I think that was just what he needed to, keep him sharp.
Do you not feel like maybe a guy like Devin Haney could do those tactics that Jermaine Ortiz used, but with greater degree?
Possibly. They're still different in ways. I think Ortiz is a pure boxer like Devin, but they still have differences. I think Ortiz's hooks are more compact than Devin's. Doesn't really use his jab as much, and I think he's better on the inside than Devin is. So I think that's what made the fight much more of a challenge for Loma. But Devin, he likes to keep stuff at range, and I just don't think Loma's going to let him slow the pace to his liking, and that's just going to be the deciding factor.
If Lomachenko wins this fight, I'd actually say this is one of the biggest wins of the last several years.
Absolutely, 100% if he wins. Yeah, of course. I mean, either way, both guys deserve full credit if they win. I mean, I don't want to hear no excuses. Devin was drained if Loma wins. Loma was past it. No, the winner deserves full credit for this fight.
Yeah, I think with Lomachenko, you're fighting a guy that's not only is he a decade younger than you and way bigger than you naturally, he's also the undefeated and undisputed lightweight champion, a guy that a lot of people have on their pound for pound lists, and a guy that may go down as a future Hall of Famer, a guy who's actually the favorite. He's a big favorite. The odds are coming out today, and some of the bookies have got it 3-1.
Yeah, but Loma's by far the best opponent Devin Haney will have fought, bar none, regardless of his age. So,
I don't think Devin's a Hall of Famer.
No, I mean if you say if he goes, so he's become the youngest undisputed.
Well, I mean, if he beats Loma, he's on his way. Then he has to. I think honestly, he has to probably become a champion too. So, you don't think so, Tony?
Tony, he's the youngest undisputed champion of the modern era, and he's the first man to unify all the.
But what is exactly the criteria for getting in the Hall of Fame? Because like Arturo Gatti is in, and his plan, and that's mostly because of the award fights, really.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I'm telling you right now, Devin will not survive at 140. The only reason why Devin is good is because he's so much bigger than everybody he fights. He's a weight bully.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line. He has no power. He
Mhm.
can't bust a grape. The
Mhm.
minute he goes up to 140, everybody's going to be the same height as him. And a guy like Josh Taylor is going to be significantly bigger than him inside the ring, especially outside of fight competition. He's just, when he gets in there with people his own size, he's going to get found wanting. He doesn't have the power. He is going to get destroyed. You put Regis in front of him, he's getting knocked out fast.
Bro, he gets in there. I said that fight. He doesn't make it to round 5 in that fight. Regis.
This is what I was gonna say though. Progray's been calling him out though, because as soon as Haney said that I'm gonna move to 140 straight away, Progray said I'm ready. And now he's got a title as well. You don't
By the
think
way,
Haney could
you
Progray?
real quick, sorry, Jimmy. What y'all think about the Liam Paro fight that he got coming up?
Who?
Progray and Liam Paro, this upcoming fight next month in June.
The hometown fight.
His homecoming fight. He's fighting Liam Paro on June 17th. Tony, you didn't hear? Or...
That's a good fight. I think he's an undefeated Australian. Not a lot of people know about him, but he's picked up some really good wins domestically.
Coming off that first round KO of Brock Jarvis. Yep.
Yeah, and that was like a 50-50 fight back in the day in Australia.
I'm looking up Paro right now because I don't even know who the fuck he is.
Oh, you didn't hear about that? Oh, wow, okay.
Progray, Eddie Hearn told him that
undefeated 140 contender. They're currently 23-0, and he's coming off a first round KO with Brock Jarvis, I think, last year, which is pretty good. And I think.
What do you guys think of Matthias? What do you guys think of Matthias and Progray? Because Eddie Hearn was saying that he's gonna try and get
somebody's going to the hospital. The fight doesn't go. Somebody's going to the hospital. That fight happens.
Eddie Hearn was saying he's gonna try and get that unification on.
Let's hope so.
And Progray's crawling him out. Progray's calling Regis out. Regis is calling Progray out. Fuck it, man. See, for me, that's the best fight in the division, but not a lot of people already care.
How you doing, sis? What's good, Lisa?
But Tony, what do you think about that, bro? What do you think about Regis Progray versus Subro Matthias?
No, that's gonna be a fucking firefight. Like, that's a really good fight. But truth be told, I would rather see Regis fight Josh Taylor.
I'm not against that. I like them to run it back. I mean, he signed the match, but I think Paro, that's a good fight for his homecoming. Not bad. So Paro's he's okay. He's decent. So
I think Josh is broken. Since Catterall beat him, I don't think he's the same fighter anymore.
Are you saying do you think he'll be T.O.'s going to beat him?
No, he'll beat T.O. T.O.'s not good.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure because I remember I still go back to that video you made on T.O. after he lost to George.
Yeah, he's just a flash in the pan. That's all T.O. is. Like, T.O. should have lost his last fight. Like,
he's a one-hit wonder. That's all he is.
I'm gonna pick. No, see, I'm actually gonna go against you guys. I think Teofimo.
No, you're not. No, don't you do it, Jimmy. No, you're not.
No, I'll tell you. No, listen, you might agree with me, right? Let me give you some legitimate reasons, right? And these are very good reasons, right? In the UK, Josh Taylor is well known for having major problems with alcohol and drugs. He's struggling at the weight. He's dealing with injuries. He's coming off of a 1.5 year layoff, and he looked like complete garbage in his last fight. I think in New York against an American Latino, I just don't know how that, And a guy like
Jimmy, T.O. got dropped by Cambosis. Do you think when Taylor starts putting paws on him, T.O.'s going to still be on his feet?
But T.O. does good against aggressive fighters, though.
Sandor Martin dropped him twice.
No, but Sandor Martin was more of a mover. Josh Taylor's a dog, bro. He's a bulldog. We know what Taylor does.
No, Jimmy. My point is he got dropped by a guy who literally has no power twice.
None.
And so if Sandor Martin can drop you, what the hell is Josh going to do?
Not to mention Jimmy.
What? Yeah, go.
Taylor took Regis Progray's best shots and outdid him.
Yep.
Yeah, they went toe to toe for the majority of that fight. Had a hematoma on his eye and shit, and didn't get dropped.
Tony, when was that? How long ago was that, though?
I don't care how long ago it was. What I'm telling you is, T.O. ain't got the power.
No, but what I'm saying is that version of Josh Taylor still around though? The one that had a really good chin that took bombs from Regis Prograis, Jose
Jimmy,
Ramirez, Ivan Baranchek.
let me tell you something. Taylor could be in the dressing room before the fight, sniffing lines off his fucking gloves and drinking alcohol, walking to the ring drunk, and he would
And he
still
might.
be Theo.
I think a guy like Tio, right? He showed that he's got a good jab and he's a very good counterpuncher. He does good against guys that look at Richard Comey, aggressive, blew him out, and he showed some really good moves against Lomachenko, who's a southpaw. You know, counterpunching, the jab very sharp on the right hand. He struggled against Sandro Martin, but that guy's a slick negative boxer. I think Tio will be more game for this fight. I think he'll definitely step his game up.
Well, he better.
Think,
Still, I'm not picking
I
him to
think
win
he
though.
goes,
So.
Well, I have to be honest, a guy like Josh Taylor, right? Great fighter, one of the best fighters in the sport, but he just isn't a star. You can't sell him in the UK. You can't sell him in America. I think the promoters would want Teofimo to win because
do they really? Because after his controversial, i.e., racist comments, did they really want that headache? Like, let's be real.
I think so. I mean, fighters make dumb comments all the time. You know, it literally happens every other day. So
you do realize Tio said he's leaving Top Rank.
Did he? Oh fuck. Okay. Well,
Tony actually Bob counteracted that later on. He said that he still has him for a couple more years. So I don't know what the hell is going on.
Regardless if Bob got him or not, you already know he's talking about leaving, which means he ain't got no longevity with Top Rank.
Yeah, but yeah, still, I mean, he did say he was leaving. Bob counteracted that. But anyway, if Tio wants to leave, do we think we're going to do him any favors?
Look, Taylor got dropped in his last fight against Jack Catterall, a guy that isn't a puncher.
Tio got dropped by people who aren't punchers, but still, Josh had an off night. That's all that was. Like, well, I mean, ever since Tio got to 140, he's looked like shit in his last 3 fights. He lost to Cambosos. The Pedro Campa fight, he stopped him, but honestly, he didn't look good as well. If I'm being real with you, I mean, Tony, would you agree?
I agree.
Okay, then we saw what happened in the Sandro Martin fight. He got a draw, or he should have lost. So honestly, I got to rewatch that fight because I think I had a draw when I watched it. But still, but bottom line, I don't think he won. Seriously, I don't think he won.
I think both fighters are coming off of controversial fights where they got dropped. So that kind of cancels it out as far as the Cambosos fight.
I mean, but I don't think Josh has only looked like doodle for 1 fight. Tio's looked like doodle for 3.
No, let me finish. Let me make a point. I don't think is he going to be dumb enough to stand in the pocket and slug it out with Josh Taylor the way he did with Cambosos. I don't think so. I think he'll fight a lot more intelligently. If he does that, he's going to get blown out in probably 3 rounds, bro.
I don't think Tio has the ring IQ or the ability to keep Josh off of him.
Yeah, he's listening to his cokehead dad in the corner. So,
come on, no need for that. Come on, let's keep it.
Well, I don't know what he's on. If he's on something, I mean, I bet he's an alcoholic. So
he's like, Papi, what are you doing? Knock the bum out. Let's get ice cream.
What fucking advice is that? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. What advice is this? Let's go get ice cream, knock the fucking bum out. Yeah, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what Tio's got in his corner, bro. It is like, I mean, dude, and it's his personal life is in terms of his wife is not letting us holding his son. All this crazy shit is going on with the kid. I mean, so based on that, I can't.
They were saying the same thing with Lomachenko, bro. Listen, Tio's been obsessed with Josh Taylor for nearly 3 years, the same way he was obsessed with Lomachenko, right? I think he's been obsessed with Taylor. I think he's been trained like an absolute beast, and I think he's going to come in with a really good game plan. I think it'll be tough with his counter punching, his jab. Good.
Tio would not have beat Lomachenko if Lomachenko would have actually fought for the first 6 rounds. Like the minute Loma started fighting, it was a one-sided fight. 100%.
When he started throwing punches in round 8, I gave Loma 8, 9, 10, 11 clearly. He won those rounds when he started throwing punches. Tio looked like he didn't know what the hell to do. He didn't.
He's just not that good. He's not that good.
Honestly, forget about a rematch. If they'd had a rematch, Loma would have. I'd have picked Loma to beat him easy.
No, I think the injury, the late start, the layoff, all that stuff did play a factor, but and it was a close
injury. I don't believe that shit for a minute because he put a fucking little mask over his nose. I'm not buying that shit.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, bro, to be fair, did you go to the end?
Oh, what he said he was injured?
Yeah, I'm not buying that shit at all.
Yeah. Who Lomachenko?
Lomachenko, do you feel? Tio.
Well, before Loma fought, what injury are we talking about? With
I don't know if Loma was injured either. I don't know.
No. For the Cambosos fight, do you remember he said that apparently one of his organs, he was having problems making weight.
I don't believe that shit.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. He's
That
just,
motherfucker.
I mean, dude, bro, he still doesn't think he lost that fight. You see,
That dude was doing. Listen, Jimmy. There are reports that T.O. was in the ring doing fucking backflips to an empty stadium before that fight happened. And you mean to tell me he was almost dying? I don't fucking buy it.
That's true.
Yeah.
After it was red, he was doing flips. After he lost.
Look, I thought that was a close fight. You know, look, if you go back in hindsight, most of the Teofimo fight was very close. Both guys got knocked down. They were going back and forth. Yeah, man. I mean, look, I think Kambosos edged it, but I wouldn't have a problem with a draw. You know, I mean, it was
Tio
pretty
didn't want
close.
to rematch. Tio didn't want to rematch with him. We know that much.
Yeah, he said he was weight dead. He said he was completely finished at 135. He was drained. So, no, I mean, look,
George Kambosos said he'd fight him at 140, and he still said he didn't want it.
Yeah, that's not. I'm not gonna lie, that's like, yeah, that's a bad look. That is a bad look. But look, I think Josh Taylor's time's over, bro. He was a great fighter. One of the best fighters to ever come out of the UK, in my opinion. But
well, I mean, bro, this is just after one bad performance. Like we don't know. I mean, we dude, hold out. I mean, let's not just jump to conclusions. You know, I mean, one guy has a bad night at the office. That's it. He's done. He's finished. He should retire. It's over for him. You know what I mean? Let's pump the brakes and see what he's got in the TO fight. I'm picking him to win. Let's see how he does.
No, but AJ, I think it's a combination of a lot of different things, though. It's the age, it's the inactivity, it's the 3 surgeries he's had. It's the reports.
Jimmy, it's one fight, bro.
No, I'm saying all the other stuff as well. No, I'm saying the other stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, but has he not? I mean, he's looked good in all his other. Just this one fight, he's looked bad. He's looked good in all his other fights, has he not?
I mean, I'll be honest, bro. I thought Jack Catterall beat the fucking shit out of him. To be
yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Let me ask you this. Hold on, Jimmy. Does T.O. do anything that Jack Catterall does? Do they fight the same?
No, I think Jack Catterall beat Teofimo.
I'm not asking you that. I'm not asking who will win. Stylistically, is T.O. and Catterall the same?
No, the different styles.
Okay, now let's stop. So you can't even do that. Catterall's a fucking sharpshooter. I hit you, I get out. I hit you, I get out. That's what he is. He's elusive. T.O.'s not elusive.
Plus, he's a southpaw. He's a southpaw as well.
Hold on, let's go past that.
Good.
Do you think Regis is a better fighter than T.O.?
Yeah, I think he's a better fighter at 140. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think Ramirez is better than T.O.? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even think fucking T.O. could be post style, to be honest with you.
With Jose Ramirez, if they fought at 140, I might favor T.O. It's like a coin flip, man.
It's at 140, Jimmy. That's where we're not comparing if it was in a different weight class at 140, where he's at. Could he beat Ramirez?
That's a 50-50 fight, to be honest, at this stage.
I think Ramirez mows him over like a lawnmower.
Yeah, I think with Regis, will blow him out, but
I think Regis was supposed to beat Jose in their fight. That's what I
thought. Yeah.
What do you think, Tony?
What's that?
I think Postal should have got the decision against Ramirez.
I do too.
Yeah, he got robbed, and they tried to do the same thing when he fought Josh as well. All 3 the same judges.
Yeah, but, I think that's a 50-50 fight. It's a great fight, though. You got pressure fighter versus the counter puncher. So
I think T.O. is no different than Devin. The minute Devin steps up, he's going to lose at 140.
Who wins at 140?
T.O. is
Tony. Who wins?
Who wins at 140, Devin or T.O.? I got Devin.
I think T.O. would beat him.
You think T.O. beat him?
Yeah, I think T.O. could beat Devin.
Yeah, I think for me, bro, it's like.
Yeah, I think there's a strong possibility that Devin gets knocked out in that fight.
Yeah, for me, that's a very tough fight. But here's a problem, though. Teofimo was so successful at lightweight because of his physical size, his punching power, his obviously physical strength, size, punching power. The guy was a monster at lightweight, kind of like Devin Haney. You know, the guy's a massive lightweight, but 140. Yeah, man, it's difficult, man.
Oh, yes, he would, Lisa. I agree with that.
Didn't he drop the 135?
Who Jose Cepeda?
Yeah,
No.
after he lost to Regis.
No. He's still at 140 from what I know.
Oh, I thought he was going down in weight.
No, he didn't drop down. He didn't go down.
That's a hell of a fight. I think Zepeda is a very good fighter, very underrated. But the way Regis Progress beat the brakes off of him and knocked him out, combined with all the wars there's been in recently, I'm not really sure how much gas Zepeda's got in the tank, to be honest. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Teofimo, bro. I mean, it wasn't too long ago that this kid was on everyone's pound for pound list. He was the undisputed champion. A lot of people were saying he was a Hall of Fame.
He was never undisputed. He was never undisputed.
No,
I mean that's debatable. You know?
No, it's not. He was never undisputed.
I mean the fact that there's a dispute or a debate means he's not undisputed.
Right now, yeah. So
didn't the WBC call him undisputed though? They said that he's got the highest level.
WBC doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. They're a bunch of idiots. Undisputed was consolidated when George Kambosos and Devin fought each other. That's when Undisputed was decided.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't, bro. If the WBC is telling me that the franchise belt is way better than any other belt we've got, I mean, what can I do?
Let me ask you this, Jimmy. What weight classes have the franchise belt?
Right now, I don't think any weight classes have them.
Middleweight does 160. They did it.
No, it doesn't. No, it isn't.
For Canelo
they did, yeah, like Tony said.
No. I'm saying I think Tony's asking active right now.
So let me ask you this: how is your best belt a belt that doesn't exist in a weight class?
Because they said they only create it for special fighters. So fighter that shows the ability to move up and down different divisions.
You know what Mauricio also said?
Yep.
That you can't win the belt.
Then what he turn around and do, Tony? After what he do?
No, he changed it though. No, he changed the rules though. Tony.
Exactly.
He changed the rules. Yeah,
no, he actually didn't change the rules. He actually did not change the rules. Tio petitioned for the belt, and Mauricio accepted his petition.
Okay, yeah. Then that's when he changed his mind. Like, okay, you can get. Yep, all right.
That's the only way you can get the belt. You have to petition for it.
Yep.
It's not a real belt.
Okay, Tony, say you're a fighter, right? And someone's telling you, and I'm the WBC, and I call you up and I say, Tony, guess what? The WBC franchise, that's legend status. That's the biggest and the best title we've got in our company. What are you gonna do, bro? Are you gonna go after a normal title? Or are you gonna go after the franchise, the super belt? You know,
I'm gonna tell you to bring on the real WBC champion and let me make that fight with him so I can be undisputed.
Yeah, but if he's telling you you are undisputed, so
no. I'm telling you, I would tell Mauricio that I want to fight whoever has the real WBC title because I'm not taking the franchise.
Fair enough. But for me,
if I was Devin Haney, I'd have called Mauricio and asked.
You know what's so crazy about franchise? You know what's so fucking crazy about it? People give Wilder so much shit because of his resume, but he turned down franchise.
Yes, he did.
I don't know about that, man, to be honest.
No, he did turn it down.
He did. He's not lying. He did.
Turned it down.
He did.
I'd have to see.
But the thing about that, I never understood that because why would he turn it down? Because the way he said it before was for people who could go up. So the heavyweights is already at.
Yeah.
So I never understood that. But if he was offered, yeah, he didn't take it, I know. But it's a contradiction to what he said, what it was about.
Not only was he offered the franchise title, but after he lost to Tyson Fury, Mauricio told him that he could fight for the Bridgerweight title in his next fight for the WBC, and he turned that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I respect that, to be honest. Because,
he turned down both of them because he doesn't look at the franchise as a legitimate title.
Right.
It isn't.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Yeah.
You have to understand that.
So again, like I give Wilder more respect for that than I do Canelo for taking it. It's not a real belt. It's not a real belt. It's not a real belt. That belt is a duck belt. everybody that sells the franchise is lost.
He is cursed though. No, I have heard that Black and Brown was saying that the franchise title is actually cursed because whoever picks it up loses straight away. There's a curse.
Except for Estrada.
Yeah, that's true. But
That's
a lot of
easy.
people thought the chocolate. A lot of people thought he did lose the second Chocolatito fight.
Yeah,
to be honest.
yeah, I did too.
Yeah, he did. I did. I thought he lost. Shit, thought he lost the third one too.
Canelo didn't lose though. Canelo didn't lose, and he became franchise. He lost, I think, 4 years after that. So.
Yeah, 'cause
Nah,
he's Canelo.
I thought the third one Estrada won.
No, you
From
thought
what
he
I
lost?
saw. Yeah, I don't think Chalk looked it old that night.
Yeah. I mean, he was close. It was closer than the second fight, but I still thought he did enough to edge it, though. I did.
Third one.
So
Third fight.
Chocolatito Estrada. I picked Estrada to win the second one, and when he won, I made a video saying I thought Chocolatito won, even though I picked Estrada.
Right.
In the third fight, I picked Estrada again, and I thought Estrada won the third one.
Yeah, he did win the third fight. See, the people are saying
I'm
that he
outlier.
won the third fight. I don't know what the hell they were watching. I mean, the second fight, fair enough. I thought that was close though, but Chuck probably went it. But Estrada clearly won the third fight. I thought the Chocolatito kind of ran out of gas and got outworked for large parts in that fight.
Yeah, I don't know. Just he been in some wars, little man. You know, he had a lot of fights, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, look, Estrada proved that he was the greater fighter. He won the trilogy, you know.
But I think Chocolatito overall had a better career.
Yeah.
Definitely both of them Hall of Famers. But Chalk is, he got some people on his resume. They both do.
This is why I don't understand why Anui moved up. Why did Anui move up and fight Fulton? Because Estrada was saying that he'd move up and fight Anui. And I thought that was a way easier fight. Fighting a guy like Estrada at 118. Than
Well,
fighting
when is Anui known to take on? He's going for the gusto, bro. He wants to test himself.
No, that's what I'm
He
saying.
didn't fight none of them when they was at the when they was over at HBO. For some reason, he didn't fight any of them, and then he went a weight up. I don't know why.
No, Duopoly said though, him and Roman Gonzalez were in negotiations to fight each other, and but Chocolatito had to get past his mandatory in Rungvisai.
He lost.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he lost.
Damn.
He lost that fight, and then at that time, the World Boxing Super Series, they made an offer to Anui to sign up to the tournament and fight Daenerys and win the belts, and so that's why. And unfortunately, they just never met up. See, it's that one fight, and I thought Chocolatito got robbed in the first Rungvisai. I thought he clearly won the fight. It was a rough fight. It was close, but I thought he won the fight definitely. Yeah, unfortunately, man, that one bad decision is the reason why
And
they
got
never
knocked
see
out
for
in
me.
the rematch. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was it. I mean, but I think he'd destroy Estrada. Monster Anui would beat the absolute, and I like Estrada, but Anui would, come on, he would knock Estrada out in 6 rounds. So I just don't know why he didn't take that fight, and instead he's fighting Fulton, a guy at 122. So would you rather fight a 115 pounder or 120? Yeah, that's how I got respect for Anui. That guy's a legitimate gangster, man, moving up in weight, fighting the top dog in the division.
Fighting the unified champion, in his first fight there, So he don't want to take. He ain't about shortcuts. He going for the gusto.
Yep.
Yeah, you got a guy over there. He's he's a content creator. He's over there. He's interviewing a lot of the fighters over there.
Who's that? Say that again, Lisa?
Is a content creator. He's interviewing a lot of fighters over there in Japan.
Oh, are you talking about True School Sports?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, got some good interviews here.
I would love to go to Japan. It's in Tokyo. I'd love to go to Tokyo to watch that fight. Louis Fulton.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try, maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed. But it's expensive, man. Tokyo is one of the most expensive cities in the world, man. It is crazy expensive in Tokyo.
Oh, hell yeah.
Go to sleep in
it's beautiful too.
Wake up in Tokyo.
beautiful too.
Yeah, because if people think London or New York are expensive, like fuck, go to Tokyo, man. Like it's crazy over there.
Uh-huh.
But
Oh
question:
yeah.
does anybody think Andrew is going to join his brother Jason and becoming a world champion next week or this weekend?
Who was he fighting again?
Junto Nakatani.
Oh boy.
I don't mean to laugh.
That's
Sorry.
Nakatani's brother?
No, no relation to Masayoshi. No relation there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just the.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Nakatani on this one.
Well, I'm going with Nakatani.
Yeah.
What is it, Jason Maloney? Is it Jason Maloney?
No, Andrew. Then the other one is fighting him this weekend.
Wait, Andrew Maloney's fighting this weekend.
Say what?
So Andrew Maloney's fighting Junto this weekend, yeah. So
Correct,
what was the fight last week? So
Jason versus Astrolabio. I didn't see the fight, but he won the vacant belt though. The one of Winoi's old titles.
Yeah, I was watching some of it. Yeah.
Actually, Winoi knocked him out like 2 years ago, I think. Right?
Yeah, I remember. I didn't even. No, I didn't even. I put in the thing. I said I didn't even realize they fought.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. It was on Halloween. The Halloween card, I think, for late 2020.
God.
I want to say. Yeah, he knocked him out in 7 rounds.
Wow.
First time he was ever stopped too.
Wow.
Are you talking about Jason?
Yeah. No, he knocked out. Yeah, he fought Jason a couple years ago. Knocked him out 7 rounds.
Oh wait. Did Jason become a world champion?
What?
Did Jason become a world champion over the weekend?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he just won the belt this past weekend.
Yeah.
Oh shit! That should make some
news. Those two little guys be in some wars already.
Watch it, he announced that he's coming back down to 118 to challenge for WBO. Jason's like, I'm vacating the.
Oh wow!
No,
Nui done got too big now to me. He big.
I'm letting y'all know I got
Is
about
it
5 minutes left.
Is it new?
Say what, Tony?
Hold on. I got about 5 minutes left. I just took my muscle relaxers on my shoulder.
Okay.
So I'm getting tired here very quickly. So
I got you.
Putting that out there, we got like 5 minutes left.
Okay.
So
yeah, no problem. Yeah, feel better.
No, I appreciate
it.
it.
No, Tony, I want to get your opinion.
Go ahead.
No, I want to ask your opinion. If Naoya Inoue defeats Stephen Fulton and becomes a 4-division champion, unified at 122 after becoming undisputed at
number one.
Is he number? Okay.
I already knew where you were going with it. He's number one pound for pound.
I agree with that. He pulls it off. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, Jimmy. I'll tell you this right now. If Fulton beats Inoue, I will not put him in my pound for pound. He will not even be close to it.
Would you put him in the top 5?
Who? Fulton?
Yeah. Would he enter your top 5 at that stage?
He's not going on my top 10. Nowhere close to it.
I know why. Tony. You don't have to explain. I know why.
Yeah. I mean,
even though like you beat the powerful face, like you still haven't done anything anywhere else.
It's right? It's like you're not even like you're unified, but I mean, he'll probably win now, get undisputed because MJ lost, which was surprising.
Yeah, if Inoue beats Fulton, he'll beat that Tapales guy. He'll take him out.
He'll beat him.
He'll take him out.
Either one of them will beat him. But my thing is this: I do not rate a fighter for beating the small man moving up. What makes the small man moving up is him beating the bigger man. Now, if Fulton goes up another division and chases Figueroa and beats him and becomes a champion, and then he goes up again to win his 3rd division, then I'll start talking about putting him on the pound for pound. But I'm not going to put him on the pound for pound for fighting a guy who started 4 weight classes below.
Yeah, but Tony, what about the fact that Inoue is one of the most accomplished fighters in all of boxing, and he's ranked top 5 pound for pound?
It doesn't.
I mean, it would easily be a career best win for Fulton if he beat him. It would.
It would be a career best win, but my point is this. The bigger man is always supposed to beat the smaller man. What makes the smaller man special is that he beat the bigger man. But you don't ever hear somebody calling the bigger man special for beating up a little guy.
But wait, what about Bivol though? When he beat Canelo, you didn't move him up your pound for pound list.
No, not at all. I don't even have Bivol on my pound for pound list. Like, first off, this is how stupid this is. How can I put Bivol on my pound for pound whenever he's not even the best at his own weight class?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think a lot of people now would
I mean, the
favor him
ranks,
to
but
be.
the ranks pound for pound rankings are all over the place. They got Lomachenko. How you gonna have Lomachenko on it, but Shakur Stevenson's not on it?
Yeah, Loma's
Like,
not.
how does that make sense? Like, I mean,
No,
I don't.
Lomachenko is a three division unified.
but he's not a champion right now. I mean, everybody on that list, he's the only person on the list who's like not a champion. Then you got Bivol on
No,
it.
Tank's,
Doesn't. I mean, then they put Tank on it to
Tank's not
beat
a
Ryan
champion.
Garcia. How the fuck?
Hmm.
Like,
That's why I don't pay no attention to that.
neither do I. It's like,
Tank's not on my
Yeah.
pound for pound. He ain't got no belts. He ain't. I mean, he's the baby belt king.
but beating Ryan at a catch weight get you on there somehow. Make that make sense.
I don't look at their pound for pounds. If I had to do a top 5 off the top of my head right now, it would be Crawford 1, Anui 2, Canelo 3. Number 4, y'all are gonna disagree with, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Tyson Fury. Number 5, I would have Usyk.
Oh, you have Tyson above Usyk.
Hell yeah, because I know he's gonna beat his ass.
Well, that's if Tyson will find his balls. So,
Hey, hold on now. Pause. Everybody wants to talk about it. Tyson priced himself out of the fight, but they like to overlook the fact that it was really Usyk that priced himself out of the fight. Because here's what y'all don't know. Here's what nobody brings up. The only way Usyk would take the fight is if he beat Tyson Fury, he got 70-30 in the rematch. So Usyk would get 70%, Tyson would get 30% in the rematch. That's the only way he would take the fight. That's why Tyson Fury wanted to do away with the rematch and not have it, and they refused to do away with the rematch that supposedly they never wanted.
but if Tyson thinks he's gonna win, why not just take that then?
Because you never know.
I follow this. Send the articles out. I never read that.
Yes, they were all
Yeah, do you want the term flipped? No, I heard it as well. But to me, Tony, that's kind of fair though, because
No. Hear me out. Here's the problem. You could be confident all day long that you could beat somebody, right? But life is not perfect and shit happens. So in other words, Tyson Fury could get in the ring and let's say he gets a cut over his eye and loses by a technical decision because of a cut. Or let's say he steps wrong and sprains his ankle and can't continue, then he loses. So there's other ways to lose a fight without losing a fight. And with that in the back of your mind, if some freak accident happens and you lose, the next time around, which will be bigger than the first time, because rematches are always bigger than the first fight, now you only going to get 30% of the pot?
No, but do you know why that's fair though? I'll tell you why. Because Usyk's.
But Tyson is the one who put that on him in the first place.
No, but Usyk's already agreeing to.
Here's the problem. Usyk don't deserve none of the money. He don't sell.
I mean, like,
No,
I agree with you.
But who are you to say what a person deserves?
I look at
They all listen. They're prize fighters. They fighting for a prize. They want
it's just like
they want
right
the biggest money.
Look, I'll put it like this. It's just like right now. If Tank Davis was to fight Devin Haney doesn't get any part of the pot. It's all Tank Davis. I don't care who's undisputed. It ain't got nothing to do with your accolades, nothing to do with your resume. It's got to do with who puts the most asses in the seat. That's it.
But Tony, here's the problem though with that theory though, right? Usyk agreed to play B-side the first time, right? So you, the shot caller, I agree to everything you want. I agree to everything. But if I have to beat you and then I become the undisputed champion, then I want the terms flipped to the way I want things. And that's fair though, isn't it? I mean,
I disagree.
I mean, but wait, even before the 70-30 just nonsense jumped off, like they were negotiating separately with the Saudis. Like Usyk accepted his deal, but Tyson didn't.
Yeah, but we don't know what that means.
Why? But why? I mean, like, why would he not take his, but Usyk did?
Because the Saudis could have offered him $10 million. We don't know what they offered Tyson Fury.
I heard they offered him like some around 60, if that. So
nobody knows what they really offered him because they never released it. But what I'm saying is, Usyk could have been happy with $10 million, and Tyson Fury could have said, "Fuck that, I'm worth more than $10 million." We don't know what the numbers were.
No, see, Tank and Ryan is Haney, very different situation because there's only one guy that's the champion. There's only one guy with all the hardware. With Usyk and Fury, it's different. You've got two different champions. Both guys are claiming they're number one, right? One guy's got more belts. The other guy's a bigger star. With Tank Davis, bro.
Jimmy, listen to what I said. No. You're proving my point even more. Even in a worse way. Tank has no belts. And he deserves all the money against Devin Haney, who's undisputed.
Okay, so I'll ask you this question. Well, Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis fought. Mike Tyson had more fans in the UK, right, in England, right, than Lennox Lewis did, bro. That 90% of the UK crowd was for Mike because Mike Tyson was that super transcendent megastar globally. Everyone loved Mike. But when they met and they fought, they split the pot 50-50, bro, because Lennox was the undisputed champion, right, who's respected and known. And Mike was the megastar, you know. So and they needed each other for the biggest fight. Tank and Haney need each other for the biggest fight. Haney brings the hardware, the legacy, and the respect, and Tank brings the TMZ and the Instagram and the WWE crowd, right? So I think they kind of need each other.
Jimmy, let me stop you. See, you're thinking like we would think is purish. You're thinking like the history of boxing, but what you got to understand is this is the post Mayweather era. Tank has already said they don't care about belts. They don't care. The belts mean nothing. There are people who rank Tank above Devin Haney, and he has no belts. There are people that will legitimately tell you that Tank Davis is the best in 135, even though we already have one undisputed champion in Devin Haney, which makes no sense. How the fuck is Tank better than Devin? He's not. But the fact
this is why I don't partake in these arguments no longer, because for me, Tony, and in the panel, you know, it's ridiculous, and just what's going on now, you know, like with the heavyweight thing and et cetera, it's we're arguing, this is why these type of fights never happen, because of stuff like this.
Hey, Jimmy, go back to Usyk. When he fought AJ, right? He took a low end of the pot. In the rematch, he took a 50-50 pot. However, he still had to meet all of AJ's demands.
Yeah. But you know what that was? No, I'll tell you why that was, though. Because in the first fight, AJ was the unified champion and the superstar. Usyk had no leverage, bro. So he was forced to take whatever deal he accepted. Heading into the Fury fight, he's a 3-belt unified champion with the ring belt, with 2 mega events under the belt. The fights with AJ, and I know a lot of people want to give AJ credit for those events, but they did bigger numbers than any of Fury's events. So he was coming with some momentum, right?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know how true that is, because Fury holds the ticket sale records in America and in England, and he dominates the numbers in both. It's just like Dillian White got no money to fight Tyson Fury. He didn't get what he was worth because they looked at what is his ticket sales numbers, what has he made, and it's going to be the same thing. If they have to, they're going to buy.
What ticket sale numbers he
so let me finish.
In America? Yeah,
Tyson Fury set the record in Vegas with Deontay Wilder for the most tickets sold in Vegas. Yeah, he holds the gate.
But I was with Deontay Wilder to help him do it, though.
It's irrelevant. He's now been in 2 fights that hold the gate. One in Vegas, one in the UK.
But Tony, let me ask you this: do you think he
I
could
could have sworn taking them was bigger than that?
No, it wasn't.
I mean, but Tony, do you think that Tyson can do that by himself in Vegas at the same arena?
AJ, here's what I'm trying to tell you. He did it in Vegas, broke the ticket sale records with Wilder. You're right. However, after that, he went back home to England and he sold like 94,000 tickets in the UK at Wembley against White. So he has all the momentum behind him, showing that he is a star. All they have to do, all Bob Arum and Tyson Fury have to do is just wait. Let Usyk fight anybody at the heavyweight division and just see what he does on his own. Because if he doesn't put any asses in seats, I can guarantee you he'll get no money.
Okay, so how about this, though? If Usyk could turn around and say, your fight with Derek Chisora did 550,000 pay-per-views, my fight with AJ did 1.3 million pay-per-views. So, I mean, and his fight with AJ, they sold out a soccer stadium as well, over 70,000.
Yeah, but Jimmy, here's the problem. His fight with Chisora sold out instantly, and it did 500,000 in a fight that allegedly nobody wanted to see.
Yeah.
So if this dude is selling out instantly and doing 500,000 ticket buys with a fight that nobody wants to see, what's he gonna do with a fight you want to see?
No, you're right. Look, Fury got paid over $25 million against Chisora, a fight that no one wanted and no one asked for. And Usyk in his next fight, he'll be lucky to see maybe $3 million against Danny Dubois, maybe 5 million at push, and I highly doubt it. So I definitely agree. Fury's the A side, but the double A side, I don't know, bro. Because even in the rematch with AJ,
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't condone it. But I'm just telling you the way that they do it. This is how I see them do it all the time. They ever since Mayweather, he's changed the business of boxing. And now if you
I was gonna say,
so don't expect the undisputed heavyweight champ. So I'm not even gonna talk about it no more. I've lost interest in it, to be honest.
I think it'll happen, Lisa. I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen next year in Dubai or Saudi. There's Derek Chisora, a guy that works with the.
I'm not
the
even
royal
interested.
family.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a strong chance that Triple D can beat Usyk.
I doubt it.
Tony,
man, to be honest.
come on.
Triple D.
Come on, Tony. Come on. That dude was.
Tony, you said some weird shit in the pep, but bro.
I know.
Tony
Yeah.
I think it's
okay.
Listen to me. The difference in Triple D and AJ is Triple D is not going to be gunshot. He's going to let his hands go. And if he fights him like Chisora did, because Chisora damn near beat Usyk. The same guy that people, hold on.
Stop.
Yes, he did. Chisora won the first 5 rounds against Usyk. What are we talking about?
No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about Triple D beating. I just don't see it.
So
he was acclimated, Tony.
And AJ will beat Triple D. I could just see that.
I'm not saying whether AJ will beat him or not. What I'm saying is the blueprint to beat Usyk has already been put out there by a fighter that's a B-level fighter at best in Chisora. All you have to do is hold his ass in the clinch and rough him up, and he can't do anything. That's what AJ should have done, but he didn't. He tried to outbox him. If Triple D goes in there with his size, his weight, and leans on Usyk and holds him and beats on him in the clinch, there's nothing Usyk can do.
No, I think Fury beats him, but
no.
In my honest opinion, I don't know about Dubois.
I think Triple Dubois has the maturity and ring IQ for that. Honestly, I don't.
You don't need IQ to wrestle. You don't need IQ to wrestle. Just grab him and wrestle. That's all you got to do. That's how you beat him. You grab him and wrestle.
Well, he left his trainers. He's not with the
McGuigan's. What happened to
McGuigans.
Daniel in his last fight, right, in the first round?
He's with Don Charles. No, it's actually good though. He's with Don Charles, the same guy that trains Chisora. So he might try and use.
He for sure he has no chance now. Like,
yeah, I mean, you don't leave Shane McGuigan and go to bloody Don Charles. That's like me leaving. If I had a job in
Don Charles even trained.
Apparently,
I remember him a while ago. Yeah.
No, listen. This is the funny bit, right? I actually do think Chisora. I think Usyk clearly won that fight 8-4. He had some rough moments, but that was his first real fight at heavyweight. I thought it was an acclimation fight. He was coming off a surgery. I think he was coming off of an 18-month layoff. So I don't think that was and that was a good version of Chisora. That Chisora went on to have a good fight with Parker. Obviously, after that, he lost the Parker rematch and he lost. I thought he got robbed. He got a gift decision against Pulev, and then he got smashed to pieces by Tyson Fury.
I mean, dude, in that Parker rematch, he looked shot, man. Like he was shot to pieces.
Yeah, I thought he lost to Pulev, bro. I have to be honest. I thought Pulev beat him.
You can't say like, oh, it was his first real fight at heavyweight, and then disregard the fact. And then when he fought AJ, it was only his second real fight at heavyweight. That's the thing. Like people like to act like there was all these fights in between Chisora and AJ. Like he had all this experience gained. No, it was the very next fight. It was only his second real fight if we're not going to count Witherspoon. So the difference of him acclimating from Chisora to AJ is really nil. The thing is AJ fought him wrong. The blueprint's out there. I'm not even convinced Usyk could beat a lot of these guys at heavyweight. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced because I saw him go life or death with Chisora.
Oh, come on. Okay, Tony, check this. Say if he did struggle with Chisora, bro. But wasn't that good for him, though? 12 hard rounds with a big, strong heavyweight to get him acclimated to the weight. I think the Chisora fight was good for him. He knew how, he knew what it felt like to be in there.
Here's my problem with that. You put Chisora in front of Dillian White, he gets knocked out. You put Chisora in front of Tyson Fury all 3 times, and he gets embarrassed. It's not even competitive all 3 times. You put Chisora in front of AJ, he's sleeping on the canvas. You put Chisora in there with all these other elite heavyweights, and he doesn't compete. For you to go life or death with this dude, I don't see it. I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if he gets beat by somebody he shouldn't get beat by.
Listen, I thought he might have lost to Joyce, like someone that big and powerful. And at that time, he looked almost unstoppable, right? Before the Zhang situation. Like, I had Dubois, bro.
Fight Deontay Wilder. That's what I want. I want Usyk Wilder. That's the fight I wanted. Whenever I saw Wilder, when I saw Wilder get ranked #1 in the WBA, I thought it was going to happen. But then Fish Face stopped it.
No, I'm hearing it may happen today. The news. Well, it could be a possibility. Because Daniel Dubois, they went to a stalemate, like with the negotiations. But I think it's I think it's because he got a new trainer now, and I don't even know if he's fully really healed, you know.
Well,
so it's a possibility that Wilder could come into play, or I don't know, or unless they just go in the next rotation of we call it Mando. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I did see that today.
I really believe Wilder will knock him out. I truly believe. I don't think Usyk can beat Wilder.
I think that's one of the biggest mismatches in the history
of
boxing.
Like Dillian White was going to knock out Fury, right?
Hey, hold on, AJ. I wasn't expecting.
I give Usyk a lot of credit. You're the reason
You're the reason I lost $50, Tony.
I'm sorry about that, but at the same time, I wasn't expecting Dillian White to come there and start hugging and kissing on Fury before the fight either.
No, I hear you. He did shit the bed pretty bad in that fight. I mean, he really did.
Yeah.
He didn't even look like he trained. Like when he got in the ring, he was out of shape.
But you know what? People don't give Thingy credit though, bro. But you have to be honest. Dillian White did help sell that fight, because I know he didn't participate in the media and all that stuff, but Dillian White has headlined and sold out the O2 Arena several times. He's done the same on pay-per-view. And when him and Derek Chisora fought in the rematch, he did 500,000 buys when he fought.
I don't even want to talk about Dillian, Jimmy, to be honest with you. Like this man,
no, I'm saying he helped.
This man waited. This man waited 5,000 years for a title shot. Is the mandatory 5,000 fucking years, and he came to the ring fat and sloppy.
Yeah. Do you know what it is though? He'd never beat Fury though, because Fury's bigger, stronger.
Hold up a second, Jimmy. I mean, Tony, you got a point, because, like, I think, because who made points about this? Julius from Real IQ, and also somebody else said it. They said that, because I asked this, like, why do you think Dillian didn't even show? He goes, possibly because he thought deep down that he couldn't beat Fury. He always wanted to fight Wilder, but then when Fury got the belt, he was apprehensive. That's why, hence he didn't participate in the build-up. He wouldn't talk shit, and when he on fight night, he looked like absolute trash.
I don't think.
Then I think it was a lot of. I just think the way. Oh, go ahead. It was just the way he was treated through the build-up, but it was just. I don't know. It was just crazy.
No, apparently he was having mental health problems, because the WBC made him wait like 5 years or 4 years.
Should have taken him to court years ago.
Yeah, he was struggling with mental health problems, because, I mean, guys like Luis Ortiz, who, let's be honest, have done nothing in the sport, had multiple title shots. Guys like Romain Stavern, guys that spend their Friday nights fixing busted toilets for a living, they'd get multiple title shots. By guys like Dillian White.
When you get your shot after waiting 8,000 years, you show up. You don't not train for the fucking fight, and I truly believe he didn't train for the fight, because he looked in his worst shape I've ever seen him.
Yeah, but Tony, check this out, bro. He was never going to beat Tyson Fury, bro, because at the end of the day, you're talking about a guy that's bigger, stronger, physically bigger, stronger, faster.
He ain't stronger than Dillian.
Physically, you don't think he's stronger than Dillian White?
No, Dillian White power lifts, and Tyson Fury doesn't even touch weights. So I know Dillian is a stronger person.
You know, I just think he's the most skilled boxer. I mean, Tyson Fury can switch here. He can pressure fight. He can counter punch. He can move.
He can
His
walk on
skill
water.
set-
He can turn water into wine, man.
The
You know, he can do
He
all
can
that.
do
I don't see the big hype over him. I really don't. I never did. He's a good boxer, though.
Tyson Fury. Yeah.
I'm about to close it down. I'm starting to feel this muscle relaxer. But I will say this, and y'all can disagree.
Yep.
I truly, here's what I've seen from Tyson Fury. I saw him get in there with a guy who dominated the heavyweight division for 10 years straight and make him look like a sparring partner at best. Then I see him get in there with Deontay Wilder, who I don't know how hard he hits. I really don't know where he rates on the all-time hardest hitters until he gets in there with somebody like AJ, Usyk, I don't know, Joe Joyce, Zane, I guess at this point. Until I see him knock out an elite, I don't know where to rate his power. But Fury absorbed it. He took it all. Like it was nothing and got up. And he stopped his reign. Every person that Fury has fought, even Dillian White, who had beat before fighting Fury 6 top 10 heavyweights. He beat 6 top 10 heavyweights while waiting for his shot at that WBC title. And Fury gets in there and makes him look like he never fought a day in his life. Chisora, who gives everybody a hard fight, even Usyk, he made him look like he never fought a day in his life all 3 times.
I agree, bro.
I'm being honest. Like, he's 6'9", can fight at 280 pounds. I don't know if anybody could beat Fury from
I wish he got some weight though, bro. Can I be honest though with Tyson Fury? I really do wish he got in better shape though, because that guy does look like a stack of pancakes. And I do like Fury. He's one of my favorite fighters.
Yeah, but
I agree with you, bro.
You know what, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Aesthetics don't win fights.
Yeah.
All right, night, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Night, y'all. Give it a rest up.
All right, good night, everybody.
Rest up, Tony.
Thanks for having me, Tony. I feel better.
Appreciate
All righty. Yeah, take care of yourself, bro.
Yeah, Tony, thanks for having me, bro. Good luck with the injury, bro. Hopefully you run more of these live streams, man. And God bless, bro. Cheers.
All right. Good night, man. Thank you. And that's going to conclude tonight. So it was supposed to be a 30-minute stream. We're at 3 hours and 16 minutes. But yeah, I'll try to do more live streams to those who stuck around to the very end, to the playback who comes to the very end. I've just been working a lot, so I haven't had a lot of free time. That's why, like, I haven't been putting up videos every day like I normally do. But I'm gonna try to get more active with it. Off that, y'all have a good night, and I appreciate y'all watching. And don't forget, at the very end, I finally remember to say, smash the like button.